You're on.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to City Council. Today's Monday, October 7th, 2024. It's approximately 1 p.m. and we'll go ahead and get started. If you please stand and join me in a moment of silence for all our military personnel and our veterans as well that have served, and those active that are serving, and for our police and fire that protect our city 24/7, 365 days a year. Have you joined me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start out with some presentations and proclamations, and joining me for the proclamations will be Mayor Pro Tem Vincom. Yeah, so the first presentation we have is a recognition of the Veterans Parade poster contest winner. So for the past several years, the Veterans Parade Committee have partnered with the Las Cruces Public Schools to host a poster contest winner, and they do a tremendous job. Like I said, it's been going on for several years. I'd like to ask Bill Hawkins to come up and do the presentation. JR, are you gonna, JR Turner, come on up. Yes, and Dolores Archuleta. Yes, so I'll let him get started with that. Go ahead.
Mayor Enriquez, City Council members, Las Cruces Public Schools representatives, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Bill Hawkins, the committee chair for the Veterans Day Parade, which will take place on Saturday, November 9th at 11 a.m. Throughout the years, with the support of the City of Las Cruces, we have published a poster to announce the date, time, and location of the parade. After years of utilizing the artwork provided by the Department of Veterans Affairs, we decided to hold a contest with the middle school students of Las Cruces to produce a more personalized announcement for our parade, as well as to encourage our local youth to learn about the role of our local veterans in the history of our country. Our first contest was in 2015. The response was so positive that we decided to make this an annual event. This year, our theme is honoring veteran first responders. Today's presentation is to announce the top 5 local artists and reward them for their efforts. We judged approximately 82 submissions from Mesa, Lynn, Picacho, White Sands, and Zia Middle Schools. I'd like to have the artists please come forward. After careful consideration, the top 5 artists are, in alphabetical order, Samantha Carrillo, Jasleen Horvath, Eli Ochoa, Emma Ramos, and Inke Zhang, who is not present at the moment. Could we please give them a round of applause for their outstanding efforts? Thank you. Now for the awards. There are 2 honorable mention artists who will receive a $20 prize for their efforts. The first is Eli Ochoa from Zia Middle School.
ask Ruiz to come join us
Okay.
from the schools.
All right. Mr. Ruiz, if you don't mind, please come up and join us. The second honorable mention is Enke Zhang from Mesa Middle School, who is currently not present. Third place, receiving a $30 prize, is Samantha Carrillo from Lynn Middle School. Second place, who's receiving a $40 prize, is Mesa Middle School's Emma Ramos. And the winner of the 2024 Veterans Parade Poster Contest is Jasleen Horvath, who is an 8th grade. Who is an 8th grader in Mr. Valdez's art class from Mesa Middle School. She is receiving a $50 prize, a framed copy of the Veterans Parade poster, and she will also have the opportunity to be in the parade in recognition for her contribution to the parade. Let's give them all one more round of applause. I would like to thank the administrators and teachers from the middle schools that participated in this year's event, Superintendent Ruiz, Joseph Flores, Director of Fine Arts for Las Cruces Public Schools, Dolores Archuleta, J.R. Turner, Mike Cano, Tim Chappell, and Brian Morrow, who are members of the Veterans Parade Committee, and Mayor Enriquez and the Las Cruces City Council for allowing us to recognize these local students. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, and please join us on November 9th for the 2024 Veterans Day Parade. It promises to be a great event honoring our local veterans. Thank you. And will you, parents, if you want to get some pictures, I think now's the time.
If we can get you all in front of this backdrop. Congratulations.
You too? Yeah, you too.
Yeah, you want to get in?
Go ahead, Mayor. Go to the picture.
Go. Yes. Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Bill Hawkins and the committee. Thank you for all that you do. You said November 9th will be the parade, and please join in. It's a great healing opportunity for our veterans. It's a great event, and encourage you all to come out to the Veterans Parade. And also just want to say thank you to our superintendent, Ignacio Reese, for showing up today and showing his participation for our students. Thank you very much.
All right, everyone, welcome. We have several other proclamations today, so we're going to keep going. The next one is for National 4-H Week, presented to Teresa Dean and your students, if you want to come on down. Is Teresa Dean here? Is she being shy? You can come down, yeah. All right, while you make your way down, I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas this year's National 4-H Week theme, Beyond Ready, reminds us that every child has valuable strengths and real influence to improve the world around us. And whereas for 120 years, 4-H has served America's young people to make the best better, and is now the nation's largest youth development organization. And whereas 4-H programs are delivered by Cooperative Extension, a community of more than 100 public universities across the nation that provide experience for young people to learn by doing. And whereas 4-H connects young people and adults to their communities, preparing them for work and life through experiential and inquiry-based learning while providing emerging research for positive youth development. And whereas expanding from its strong agricultural roots, 4-H helps young people explore the world around them and grow into productive adults. And whereas supporting future leaders in science, agriculture, and community leadership is important for the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the National Institute of Food and Agriculture 4-H program. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim the week of October 6th through the 12th, 2024 as National 4-H Week in Doña Ana County, and urge the people of this community to learn more about 4-H and to become more involved in 4-H as members, club leaders, or volunteers. Signed, Eric Enriquez, Mayor, and attested by our City Clerk, Christine Rivera. You can clap. There we go. Did you want anyone on stage? Yes, please, come on up before we take a picture.
Just to introduce ourselves, my name is Joa Owens. I am a Doña Ana County 4-H Council Ambassador.
Hello, my name is Nadia Naparco, and I am the Doña Ana County 4-H Council President. And I have a brief little note here. Mayor Enriquez, council members, and honored guests. On behalf of the Doña Ana County 4-H program and my fellow team members, thank you for the opportunity to join you today and for your 4-H Week proclamation. From livestock to quilting to baking to STEM projects, there are over 350 youth members enrolled in Doña Ana County 4-H who depend on innumerable parents and adult volunteers for encouragement.
In this year alone, we had over 900 exhibits at the 4-H Red Barn at the Southern New Mexico State Fair. As 4-H members, we would not be able to achieve our goals without the dedication of our county extension agents, Eva Madrid and Teresa Dean, and the support of our leaders like you. As a token of our appreciation, we have a small gift for each of you. Thank you again.
Okay, next up is Public Art Month, presented to Chantel Yazzie Martin and any other members of the Public Art Board. Yes, all of you, come on down. Hi, everyone. Is this the whole board? Almost? I love it. Okay, wonderful. Whereas the month of October has been recognized as National Arts and Humanities Month by thousands of arts and cultural organizations, communities, and states across the country, as well as by the White House and Congress for more than 2 decades. And whereas the arts and humanities embody much of the accumulated wisdom, intellect, and imagination of humankind, which enhances and enriches the lives of every American, including those of us living in the city of Las Cruces. And whereas the city of Las Cruces actively supports the arts and humanities through the work of the City Art Board, including the funding, development, commissioning, and curation of public art throughout the city to make it available for everyone to view and enjoy. And whereas the City Art Board has accomplished the following: launched the Art Stop Bus Shelter rotating exhibit, presented Ask Alice Creative Industries workshops, coordinated the Chalk the Plaza at the Mira Festival, purchased AIPP artwork for City Hall, commissioned original art projects, and participated in outreach events. And whereas public art enhances our shared environment, playing a unique role in the quality of life for our families and our community by bolstering civic pride, growing the creative economy, and making Las Cruces a cultural destination. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 as Public Art Month in Las Cruces, and call upon our citizens to celebrate and promote public art in Las Cruces and encourage our citizens in advancing the broader arts and humanities within our community.
Yat-e, she'e, Chantal Yazi Martin Yinshia. I just introduced myself in Navajo. My name is Chantal Yazi Martin. I'm the chair of the City Art Board. And I just wanted to, let me pull up my notes really quick. Say thank you to our leaders and Mayor Enriquez for this proclamation, and Councilor Yana Bencomo. That was a lot of words, so thank you so much. And we just wanted to say that we have, in the past year, approved many projects. We've approved 3 projects for the fire stations in collaboration with Chief Smith, who is very enthusiastic, and I love that, his collaboration. So, and as well as the East Mesa Recreation Complex. We have new artwork in the Art and Public Places category here in City Hall, actually, and we actually have a full board, and so I'm really eager to say that now. We're almost all here, but I'm really glad we all made it here as well. And if you would like to attend our board meetings, we do the second Thursday of every month at 4:30, and we're always looking for community input as well to select your own art for our own city. So thank you so much. Ikeha.
Oh, do you want me to do La Casa? You can stay up here. Okay, next we will have a proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, presented to Gloria Carreras, Colleen Pullen, and Chantal Yazi Martin for La Casa. Hello. Whereas it is vital to recognize that domestic violence does not discriminate. To acknowledge this is also to understand that it is our collective responsibility as a community to break the silence, challenge societal norms, and promote a culture of respect, love, and justice. Let us be motivated and inspired to take action. And whereas La Casa Inc.'s mission since 1981 has been to promote individuals impacted by domestic violence by providing shelter, advocacy, and comprehensive services throughout southern New Mexico. Their commitment fosters healing and empowerment for those in need. And whereas we recognize the tireless efforts of advocates, volunteers, and organizations like La Casa Inc., who stand as pillars of our organization's of our community's safety. Their relentless pursuit to create a safer and more just environment for all, along with their dedication to educating, empowering, and supporting victims and survivors instills reassurance and confidence in us all. And whereas this year's annual Candlelight Vigil theme, Lighting the Way, Stories that Honor and Guide, emphasizes the importance of sharing survivor stories, illuminating the path toward healing, and offering guidance to those still in the shadows of abuse. La Casa Inc.'s annual Candlelight Vigil also serves as a poignant reminder to honor our friends, families, and neighbors who have tragically lost their lives due to domestic violence. And whereas the community is called upon to unite La Casa Inc.'s commitment to support domestic violence prevention initiatives. By promoting awareness and providing essential resources, we can significantly impact the lives of those affected by violence. As the needs of those whom La Casa Inc. serves continue to expand, we must enhance our outreach and resources. The support and commitment of the community are crucial in fostering an inclusive network that offers assistance and hope to all who seek it, thereby significantly enhancing the effectiveness of La Casa Inc.'s work. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We encourage all residents and our elected officials to participate in the Candlelight Vigil and other initiatives organized by La Casa Inc. to honor survivors and advocate for a community free from violence and abuse. Let us join together to light the way for those in need and foster a society rooted in compassion, justice, and safety for all.
First, I'd like to thank you for this proclamation and for allowing us to be here and to speak. I think it's very important that our community gets involved in our organization and our initiatives. We've grown so much over the past decade, and we want to show you what we're able to do. At La Casa Inc., we don't say no. If you're affected by domestic violence, we're here to help you. So we're encouraging the community to not only remember and honor those who tragically lost their lives due to domestic violence, but to also support and uplift those who are still being impacted, who have broken their cycle, those who have survived, those who have thrived despite everything they have gone through. Their stories are not just tales of tragedy or survival. They are stories of courage and of a cycle that can and must be broken. So I welcome the community to come join us. We have 3 vigils coming up. The first one is in Anthony this coming Thursday at 6 p.m. The next one will be in Las Cruces at NMSU at the Corbett Center in the Doniana Room. And then we also have one in Deming on the 24th. Please check out our website and our Facebook for more details. Thank you, guys.
Okay, just 2 more. And this one is for Fire Prevention Week, presented to Fire Marshal BC Mike Landevazo and the LCFD, and of course our chief. Just you, Chief? Oh, not that you're not enough, you're plenty. But thank you. Do you want to read it? I can read it if you want. Okay. Whereas the National Fire Protection Association has designated October 6th through the 12th, 2024 as Fire Prevention Week with the theme Smoke Alarms, Make Them Work for You. And whereas this year's focus underscores the critical importance of working smoke alarms and reducing the risk of fire-related deaths, as data reveals that the majority of such tragedies occur in homes either without smoke alarms or with no functional ones. And whereas having operational smoke alarms in the home can cut the risk of dying in a fire by more than half, 54%, yet approximately 3 out of 5 fire deaths occur in homes with either no smoke alarms or no working smoke alarms. And whereas 1/3 or 38% of home fire deaths result from fires in homes with no smoke alarms, underscoring the urgent need for every household to prioritize fire safety. And whereas this year's Fire Prevention Week theme emphasizes the importance of installing smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside each separate sleeping area, and on each level of the home, including the basement. And whereas it is crucial to ensure that smoke alarms are accessible and functional for all family members, including those with sensory and physical disabilities, and whereas testing smoke alarms at least once a month by pushing the test button and replacing them every 10 years or when they do not respond to testing are vital steps in maintaining home fire safety. And whereas by adhering to these guidelines, residents of Las Cruces can significantly enhance their safety and protect their loved ones from the dangers of fire. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim the week of October 6th through the 12th, 2024 as Fire Prevention Week in the City of Las Cruces, and urge all residents to participate in this vital awareness effort to ensure their smoke alarms are properly installed, maintained, and tested. Thank you, Chief.
Well, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and thank you, Mayor and members of council. So just a few words on fire prevention and safety. Smoke alarms and smoke detectors are the first step in protecting your family. There's many things that we can do, from the construction of our homes and the safety features that are now available and affordable that will protect our community. When we look at the changes that happen across the United States when it comes to our wildland-urban interface, possible insurance rates, major catastrophes like the hurricane that just went through the Florida Panhandle area. There's another one that's coming in the next few days. Our environment is changing, our insurance rates are going to change, and we have to look at ways of keeping our community safe. And that means adopting the latest codes and the latest habits and behaviors that will protect your family. So please, this time change, go change those 9-volt batteries in your smoke detectors, test them, make sure they work. Those things will save your family's life if you do experience a fire. So thank you.
And thank you, Chief Smith and the LCFD for all you do. So remember, don't be annoyed by your fire alarm. Be friends with your fire alarm. Okay, last one. We now have a proclamation for Dyslexia Awareness Month presented to Ellen Sage and Dale Yo. Hello. Whereas dyslexia affects at least 1 out of every 5 children in the United States, is the most prevalent of all known learning disabilities, is the leading cause of reading failure and school dropouts in our nation, and is identifiable with 92% accuracy at ages 5.5 to 6.5. And whereas dyslexia is not outgrown, but is treatable with proven multisensory teaching methods, and reading failure is the most commonly shared characteristic of juvenile justice offenders, and whereas children with both dyslexia and ADD are at a dramatically increased risk for substance use and felony conviction if they do not receive appropriate intervention. And whereas dyslexia faces continual limitations and frustration in their work, school, and in reaching their intellectual potential, resulting in a tremendous loss of creativity and productivity in our workforce. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor, City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 as Dyslexia Awareness Month, and urge all citizens to become aware of the challenges, needs, and potential associated with dyslexia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo, Mayor Enriquez, and Council. We really appreciate the opportunity to focus this month on dyslexia and the need for better treatment and better opportunities for people who suffer from dyslexia. The Las Cruces Public Schools has taken a tremendous step forward in accordance with New Mexico law passed, I think, just last year. All first graders are being screened for dyslexia. The follow-up now is what requires work. We'd like to mention our website for Dyslexia Institute of Southern New Mexico. It's disnm.org, so you can educate yourself further on dyslexia and the things that can be done. I need to mention that the president of Dyslexia Institute, Dale Yo, was not able to attend today. And I'd like to introduce you to one of our wonderful board members who also does our Facebook. So please go to our Facebook and like us. We really like likes. So this is Laura, oh my gosh. Elmquist, yes. Sometimes I get a brain freeze when I'm up here. So thank you very, very much.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is Jobs of the Week. Sarah Rainey.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Hold on one second. And there we go. All right, for Jobs of the Week for October 7th, we have for the City of Las Cruces a new services coordinator. A position starts at $18.77 and the posting closes next week. We also have an engagement coordinator for the city, and that one starts at $21.21 an hour, and the posting closes next week as well. White Sands Missile Range has a human resource clerk, and the posting closes on the 26th. We have a seasonal CDL driver for Nutrition Ag Solutions that starts at $27,000 and goes up to $42,000 a year. The posting closes at the end of the month. For NMSU, we have Student Success Coach Coordinator. That one starts at $42,000 a year, and the posting closes at the end of the month. We have multiple openings for the BW Gas Convenience All Subs Corporation. As everyone knows, there's a new location here in town. They're hosting several open positions from store manager, assistant store manager, sales associates, and general laborers. I also wanted to let the city know that we are, of course, having our monthly job readiness event at the Community of Hope. This is the one that we host there for the members, just helping everything from resume writing to interview skills to actual job placements. We have had several employers join us in the last couple of events, which is great because we've had on-the-spot interviews and jobs that were gotten that day. So that's been excellent. We would encourage more employers to come join us. Also on the very same day, on October 16th, the Community of Hope is hosting their own resource fair, which will include mental health services, our job fair as well, addiction treatment services, haircuts, and more. So their event will be from 12 to 3. Ours will be from 2 to 4:30. So we're kind of overlapping and joining in together. So we'd encourage everyone to come out to that. And then, in support of the veterans as well, we wanted to bring light to the veteran services in our New Mexico Workforce Connection. The employment-related services are available to veterans and their family members, including matching military skills and experience to civilian careers, searching for jobs in your local area across the U.S., and accessing other benefits. So they'll hook them up with other things that they know about, other services outside of just job readiness and job search. At our local career fair and other events, we typically hold the first hour as veteran priority, where veterans can come in, first come, first serve, and benefit from the specific events. The local DVOP team are also veterans, and they understand firsthand the needs of these veterans and what they're wanting and their job skills, so it's a lot easier for them to place them with that experience. So if anyone is interested in the veteran services, please come check us out at our address at 226 South Alameda, or you can go online to employnm.com any one of our social medias as well, and as well as to find out all of the local events that we have. The social medias are hosting those as well. And I would encourage you all, as a council, come join us at the Community of Hope event on the 16th, as this one will be a big one this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for that information. Next on the agenda is Pet of the Week, Carol Nielsen.
Good afternoon. I'm Carol Nelson with the Animal Services Center of the Mesilla Valley. I am the digital content specialist. This week for our Cat of the Week, we have Sybil. Her number is 80808 if you would like to look her up on our website. She says, I'm a friendly girl who's ready to steal your heart. At just 2 years old, I'm at the perfect age to be your loyal companion and best friend. I'm up for trying a cuddle session or some gentle playtime. If you're looking for a loving and affectionate companion to brighten your days, I am here waiting for you. The dog of the week is Love. Her number is 72894 if you would like to look her up on our website. I'm a spirited pup who just celebrated my first birthday. I'm bursting with energy and always ready for an adventure. I could use a little help with some basic training to become the best dog I can be. If you're looking for a playful companion who will fill your days with joy and laughter, I'm your girl. This week, coming weekend, we're going to be at the La Mesa Fall Festival, which is at the La Mesa Community Center, so come check us out along with the other vendors. And then we are going to be having a drive-through vaccination clinic coming up on the 20th. So definitely come on out, encourage people who don't have their pets microchipped or are unvaccinated, need to get updated on their vaccines, because we provide free and low-cost services at the event. So definitely plan on coming a little bit earlier because those events can get pretty busy. So, and then of course, if you would like to see more day-to-day stuff, you can check us out on social media, and also visit our website at ascmv.org. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Carol. Next is a conflict of interest. Does any member of the city council, city manager, or any member of the city staff have any known conflict interest with any item on the agenda?
None, Lotus.
None.
None. None, Graham.
None.
Next is public participation. We'll allow up to 3 minutes, no pending litigation or items on the non-consent agenda. Katrina will assist on individuals coming up to speak.
Good afternoon. My name is Donna Stryker. The legislative session in Santa Fe in January of 2025 is going to be another opportunity, important opportunity for the city of Las Cruces. I know that this year we had new council members, a new mayor, and we weren't quite as maybe prepared as we could be. And I'd like to ask the council now if they could make a commitment to be committed to this coming legislative session in January of 2025. It's super important. Thank you to Mayor Bencomo, Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo. I understand we have billions of dollars at the state level, which is a little scary that they have all that money and they're not helping us in many, many different ways. I'm asking for the help from the council to have a plan of action for the legislative session. I know we all have our pet projects and our passions and our stuff that makes our heart sing, but if we could just be open to all of them. Businesses have continued to suffer business losses due to vandalism, and yet there's a program, but myself and, oh, I touched something. I'm sorry. I touched the button. I'm so sorry. We have asked for the money, we have submitted it, and we have not had that money forthcoming. It's only $2,000, but that money is important to small businesses, and if we could find a way to either get additional funding or an easier way to recoup the thousands of dollars that we've lost to repair our businesses or our buildings, we are continuing to suffer. We do collect the GRT for the state and the city, and small businesses are the backbone of not only America, but the city and the county. It still feels that somehow, though, we're the bad guy. and I believe that that needs to change. People are leaving New Mexico due to crime, our education system, not being happy with local and state government. We need our businesses to be respected and be partners in the future of Las Cruces. Mental health, it's the big white elephant in the room that we don't want to talk about. We continue to not receive enough funding to provide facilities and staffing in New Mexico. What's the plan for Southern New Mexico to look at this? We need more police in Las Cruces. There's a current recruitment endeavor right now for the upcoming academy, but we have no permanent site for our academy. In order to attract candidates, it would be very helpful to have a safe and appropriate place for them to train. Instead of using existing office space and the catch-can workarounds, a city of our size needs an academy. All of us suffer if we do not have adequate police that are trained and educated. Competency is paramount to addressing the current situation in our state on the release, in some cases, of violent offenders. There's going to be a pilot program addressed this week here in Las Cruces at the Courts, Corrections, and Justice Committee this week. I'm assuming and I'm hoping that some of our counselors are able to be in attendance this week. And will any of you guys speak in January in Santa Fe? And last but not least is bail reform. It continues to be a roadblock to law enforcement judges in the process to help those in need with mental illness or drug addiction. It needs to be discussed at the state level. Let us know what we can do to help you for a change. I would like to know. Tell me, call me, email me. I think everybody has my number.
Good afternoon. My name is Gage Burnett. I've been a resident here in Las Cruces for roughly the past 3 years, and today is October 7th, 2024, marking the 1-year anniversary of the ongoing genocide taking place in Gaza. I want to remind this council that there is no crime for which the punishment is the death of your children. There is no crime for which the punishment is the death of your neighbor's children. There is no crime for which the punishment ought to be genocide. 154 days ago on May 6th, this council chose not to hear a resolution condemning the genocide in Gaza. And so today I come here to speak once again and remind you that we live in New Mexico, home of Alamogordo, or home of the White Sands missile range, where the weapons being used to murder children across the world right now are being manufactured, where they are being tested, where drone pilots are being trained to kill children and to kill journalists who have nothing to do with any of this conflict. I want to remind this group that as we hear proclamations about domestic violence, about fire safety, about dyslexia and education, that there is no recourse for the dyslexic children, for the people experiencing fire brought down from the skies upon their own homes across the world in Gaza. And I want to remind us all that we are living through a genocide and that we as New Mexicans are a part of that. We as Americans are a part of that, and it is our responsibility to honor those who have been murdered for reasons that are entirely beyond their control. Thank you.
Hello, Council. My name is Trent Scribner. I'm a resident here for 23 years. I lived here my whole life. I'm here today to remind you and to remind the rest of the good people here that the issue of genocide is not beyond the scope of this council, as many people like to say. It is not beyond the scope of the people of this city. In this little folder here, I've got 600 pages of the names of Palestinian martyrs, most of them children, elderly people, women. The people killed, and this doesn't make up the totality of the casualties, what I've got here. The people listed here who were killed by American bombs, paid for with American money. What's going on in Gaza is not beyond our scope because it happens only with American consent. It only continues with the consent of the American people. And as such, silence is complicity. I'd like to take some time to read the names some of the people killed. Bint Asiya Nazar Muhammad Abu Warda, who is 0 years old, a female. Abin Wala Al-Duwalsa, who's 0 years old, a young boy. Amal Muhammad Mua Abu Sois, 0 years old. Yasir Salah Yasir Aldo, 0 years old. Carmel Allah Walid Hamdan, 0 years old. Maisa Diab Mahmoud Al-Skafa, 0 years old. Muhammad Nasser Ayad, 0 years old. Kanan Shadi Hashim Mustaha, 0 years old. Anwar Ahmed Mohammed Rois, 0 years old. Abin Elham Ahmed Hamad Kathab, 0 years old. Ahmed Hamid Kathab, 0 years old. Muhammad Kaish Shafot, 0 years old. Muhammad Ahmed Sami Alamawi, 2 months old. Shahad Omar Al-Kita, 0 years old. Nidal Jalal Albana, 0 years old. Muhammad Jamal Hassan Nisaman, 0 years old. Nad Hilmai Saleh Al-Maidwa, 53 years old. Ali Saeed Ala Aisharoy, 46 years old. Faryal Hassan Ahmed, 51 years old, a female. Ahmed Abdul Rahman Ahmed Shahab, 42 years old. Excuse me. Nama Ali Kasem Obed, 64 years old.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Councilors. My name is Vika Vedo. I'm a resident of Las Cruces, and I will be continuing with this list of martyrs killed with U.S. weapons, U.S. diplomatic cover, our tax dollars, our complicity, our silence, our inaction. Namua Ali Qassam Obeid, Dael Yanis Hamad Abu Qassa, 72. Abed Muhammad Abed, 91. Imad Yaqub Ramadan Sarra, 58. Ismail Muhammad Abdel Qadar Al Mutawak, 88 years old. Aya Namar Muhammad Shanasir, 53 years old. Abed Sobi Muhammad Abu Khattab, 48 years old. Sami Wisha Ramadan Al-Saudi, 51 years old. Fikaria Saad Jamara, 52 years old. Safa Abdul Jawad Muhammad Abu Ras, 48 years old. Sarab Abdulaziz Abdel Alati, 50 years old. Jihad Muhammad Jamua Al-Arabi, 56 years old. Fawad Umar Muhammad Jarawa, 73 years old. Hanan Nomar Nijab Alawada, 61 years old. Rabiha Ashur Mustafa Hamada, 75 years old. Abdurrabah Abdurrahman Abdurrabah Abu Samyar, 74 years old. Wafa'a Salid Khalid Athman Abuzar, 57 years old. Wael Mustafa Omar Shazaha, 78 years old. Hussein Abdul Ghaffar Abdul Hassan, 71 years old. Yusuf Faria Hassan Al-Nuer, 56 years old. Muhammad Barish Hassan Al-Nuwari, 56 years old. Ali Muhammad Ali Abdul Kamil, 60 years old. Muhammad Tawfiq Hassan Abu Raqqa, 48 years old. Amil Yusuf Muhammad Adarham, 50 years old.
Hello, my name is Alexander Burning. I'll be continuing reading the list of some of the estimated hundreds of thousands of Palestinians killed in the past year to a council that voted to take a ceasefire resolution off the agenda on May 6th. Samoa Hussein Halamai Al-Batar, 52 years old. Ikram Arafat Ibrahim Al-Qajar, 53 years old. Hanan Ahmed Youssef Daoud, 50 years old. Muhammad Sadiq Muhammad Nasir, 50 years old. Iyad Adib Muhammad Jrada, 61 years old. Wafa'a Saeed Mahmoud Shaheen, 52 years old. Abdul Rahman Muhammad Ahmed Ali, 24 years old. Akram Hamdan Hajasi, 51 years old. Khalid Ali Ibrahim Agas, 53 years old. Samira Jahad Hamad Al-Dahar, 51 years old. Noor Abdal Majid Saeed Abul Kumsan, 42 years old. Hada Abd Youssef Zaida Abu Khadira, 60 years old. Muslim Tawfiq Aloda Muhana, 71 years old. Muhammad Mustafa Abdullah Albana, 65 years old. Duhai Ismail Araf Aloha, 66 years old. Khalid Atullah Zak Araf Aloha, 70 years old. Salamua Salim Salamua Abu Jiri, 61 years old. Isam Muhammad Tanbora, 71 years old. Rafifin Nora Muhammad Tanbora, 71 years old. Najah Sobi Rat Al-Soa Sa, 61 years old. Saleh Kamis Saleh Almus, 42 years old. Muhammad Ahmed Darash Al-Sahir, 43 years old. Shrika Shada Bari Al-Astal, 54 years old. Muhammad Galai Jabalai, 45 years old. Hai Rabha Araf, 59 years old. Adel Jawad Adel Arafata, 44 years old. Amal Abdullah Hussain Isa, 64 years old. Aziza Abdal Fatah Ahmad Abu Shamala, 63 years old. Zaika Mahmoud Abed Abdal Hadi, 63 years old. Ali Mamu Ahmed Abdal Hadi, 71 years old. Nasser Ismail Khalil Alafouai, 59 years old. Nabi Ismail Khalil Draboa, 64 years old. Nahida Ahmed Muhammad Draboa, 72 years old. Mesbah Muhammad Mitlik Al-Haraji, 68 years old. Ziyad Suleiman Abdul Jara Akisha, 60 years old. Thank you.
Hello, Mayor, City Council. My name is Giovanni Sebastian Hernandez. Mayor Enriquez, Councilor McClure, Councilor Matisse, Councilor Graham, Councilor Flores. On May 6th, you all voted to remove a ceasefire resolution from the Las Cruces City Council's agenda. With your vote, you very clearly sided with Zionism, with the genocidal state of Israel and their ongoing ethnic cleansing of Palestinians in Gaza, the West Bank, and now an escalating war in Lebanon. Today, I will take time to read some of the 40,000 names of the men, women, and children who have been martyred over the past year of genocide. Bear witness and understand that your hands, your titles, and your hearts are stained with the blood of our siblings in Palestine. Gahada Al-Burhamim Yunus Akilot, Sahil Hassan Ahmad Akilot, 65, Khalil Ahmadun, 62, Abdul Mohammed Ibrahim Arok, 68, Harib Ahmed Salam Al-Wejo, 73, Mahmoud Jamal Ahmed Al-Makusa, 64, Saud Mohammed Hamd, 75, Sahel Al-Berkez Muhammad Musella, 55, Munasar Abd Ahmed Abdul Dayem, 76, Salama Hussein Muhammad Al-Sain, 62, Atala Muhammad Kali Abutrad, 59, Ashur Abwad Ashar, 64, Jamlat Abdal Hadi Abdaha Al-Kafrana, 55, Muhammad Abdul Mati Muhammad Qassam, 65, Mahir Yaha Hussein Al-Kers, 58, Abdal Fatal Mitrik Muhammad Radwan, 78, Muhammad Rizq Ahmed Radwan, 61, Rizq Ahmed Salah Radwan, 91 years old, killed by the state of Israel in genocide. Muin Hussein Khalil, 57, killed by Israel in genocide. Fatih Mohab Abdali Alwan, 72, killed by Israel in genocide. Basma Abdin Muhammad Abu Shamla, 51 years old, killed by Israel in genocide. Nasser Musella Mohadin Aluh, 65 years old, killed in genocide. Hassan Ali Hassan bin Saeed, 70 years old, killed by Israel in genocide. Musas Abadiz Muziz Al-Razi, 72 years old, killed in genocide. Yahya Ahmed Muhammad Al-Farah, 82 years old, killed in genocide. Fatima Muhammad Hamd Abd-Jahad, 66 years old, killed in genocide. May these names echo in your memories. May you see them when you sleep at night. Long live Palestine. Viva Palestina.
Mayor, Council, Juan Garcia. In a stunning display of disrespect for the democratic process, the Democratic Party of Doña Ana, in my opinion, thwarted the will of the people of the 53rd House District. After Hill's primary victory with 58% of the vote, leaving Madrid with 42%, Hill's tragic passing on August 16th should have automatically elevated Madrid as the rightful successor. This is what respect for the voters and common sense would dictate in a true democracy. But that's not what happened. Instead, a secretive group of 7 unidentified party insiders orchestrated a backroom deal. Driven by ideological bias, they rejected the centrist Democrat chosen by the people and handpicked a person who never ran in the primary. This handpicked candidate, who received zero votes from the community, failed to submit financial disclosure forms on time. Yet in the eyes of these party elites, this glaring lack of accountability means nothing. What matters most to them is ramming their own preferred candidate down the throats of the voters. And now they have the audacity to suggest that this subversion of democracy represents the, quote, will of the people. This is a shameful affront to the principles of transparency, accountability, and respect for the voter's voice. The people of the 53rd District deserve better than to have their choices callously disregarded in this manner. Early voting begins on October 8th. The stakes this year couldn't be higher, and the choice is crystal clear. If you want to protect your family, your property, and your values, you must act. Do you feel safe with the surge in violent crime? Are you comfortable with your son or daughter making a life-altering decision at one of the life-terminating/gender reassignment centers, better known as abortion clinics, where babies with no names are terminated? Does the idea of your hard-earned wealth being redistributed sit well with you? or taking your lawfully owned defensive weapon? These are the consequences of the policy supported by the incumbents. We didn't get here by accident. We got here by citizens ignoring what these politicos represent. This election is your chance to make change. Vote for the candidates who will uphold the rule of law, defend your rights, and preserve parental rights. Let's secure a safer, more prosperous future for ourselves and generations to come. The time to act is starting tomorrow. Thank you.
My name is Lori Inglis. I live in Doñana County and in Las Cruces for 24 years, and I distinctly resent what just happened about the reading of the names. I am offended as a United States Marine and as a citizen of the United States of having any person or people accused of having blood on their hands for things that are totally out of our control. That statement being made, integrity. This is my statement to the council. Lack of integrity leads to hypocrisy. Lack of truth leads to disrespect and dishonesty. Lack of rules leads to chaos. Lack of laws leads to lawlessness. Lack of standards leads to double standards. And what I'm getting at is very clearly written in the state concerning placement of political signs. No individual political sign shall exceed 32 square feet in sign area. Political signs may be erected no sooner than 90 days prior to an election, and this is from the city council page. Political signs must be removed within 10 days after the election, which doesn't always happen. Political signs are prohibited to be placed in clear sight of triangulars, in other words, obstructing traffic patterns. There's a candidate, maybe even more, in this county, or that is putting up, in fact, they're in the state, putting up signs in front of other candidates opposing signs. They're putting them up on city property. Political signs are permitted only on private property with the permission of the private property owner. I've had to remove 2 signs from a politician from my personal property that were opposition to what my candidates I support. And signs are prohibited. This is the important thing. Signs are prohibited from from government property, facility, roadway, median, sidewalks, telephone, or electrical poles, or on roadway signs, period. Basically, the city needs to take a little tougher stand on this and just not let it go willy-nilly that, oh, well, it just happened. These signs need to be enforced. This close to an election, which is a very, very impactful election, none of this. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. I don't care what party you are. If you are violating the city ordinances, then you need to be called on it. Your signs need to be removed. You need to stop putting signs up in front of your opposing candidates because you just don't like what they stand for. Any decent politician should go by these rules that the city has imposed. Let's get back to integrity in elections. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council, City Council, and Mayor. My name is Lucas Hardin. I'm a resident of District 2. I've lived in Las Cruces my whole life, which is longer than 24 years. So if we're comparing notes, I don't know if that gives us more standing or not, but I want to thank the folks who read names to remind us of our complicity in the genocide happening in Gaza. I am here today, though, and I wish I could stay to speak, but like many Las Crucens, I have work during the day, so I can't usually come to these things. But I wanted to speak in support of the Mesilla Valley Community of Hope and encourage the City Council to continue supporting that amazing organization. Very brief story. One time I was coming back from Hobbs from work, and just outside of Artesia is a small town called Hope, and there was a man with his thumb out right underneath the city sign that said Hope. And I thought, well, you can't pass up a man standing under a sign that says Hope. As it was, he works in carnivals, and Alamogordo is home to one of the carnivals that works here in southern New Mexico, and he is a migrant worker. He based more or less in Colorado, but he was coming down to work for the season, but it was still early. He didn't have anywhere to go. We wound up having a really wonderful conversation. He was a very nice gentleman, and he wound up asking if I wouldn't mind bringing him all the way to Las Cruces because he had heard that there was a really amazing facility here in Las Cruces that he could potentially get help in until he could get to Alamogordo when his job was going to start. That was the Community of Hope. And from beginning to end, that story is about hope. And I've heard a lot of messaging from folks in this community recently that I would say is about despair. People have despair at having to see other people experiencing being unhoused. People despair at broken windows or stolen items, as if those things have more value than what a person's life is or what they are experiencing. And those are principles and attitudes that are rooted in fear. And when we have a resource, literally called the Community of Hope, that does everything in its power to bring hope to people, to get people homes and food and services, that's what we should be focused on. And we have it. And I don't know the will of the city of the council today. I just wanted to speak in support of that, because as a resident of this city, it's one of the things I'm the most proud of that we do for our community, and I'm proud of that. And I have been critical of this council, and I have things that I would want us to do better, but we're doing a good one here, so please support it.
Mayor, city councilors, my name is Frank Lopez. I want to first thank you all for the work that you do, for serving as city council and mayor pro tem. I think your work is not easy. It's very difficult. The sessions that I've attended, I've heard harsh comments, critical comments, insults at times. But what I want to talk about just very briefly today is democracy and political violence. A few weeks ago, I learned that one of our own elected officials received a death threat. I don't know all the circumstances, but I think this is very, very serious. But all of us need to ask ourselves, if this is happening in our community, what are we doing about it? Research says that elected officials experience all kinds of abuse, including insults, threats, and physical attacks. And I've seen some in this room. Here are a few statistics regarding threats to elected officials. Since the presidential election in 2016, violence and threats to elected officials has increased exponentially. On a national level, 43% of state legislators experience some form of threat. 18% of local elected officials experience some form of threat. Women office holders were 3 to 4 times more likely than men to experience abuse targeting their gender. These statistics do not have to be our statistics. When it comes to our community and our city, the minute one person receives a death threat, we should all be concerned, regardless of our political affiliation. And that threat is an affront to all of us and to our democracy. As a former law professor, I often held deep conversations about the US Constitution and what it means. The Constitution is not just a document in Washington, D.C., it is something we live. One thing is certain, threats and violence towards our elected officials tears away at our democracy. And that includes the little town of Las Cruces. We cannot let that happen. We all need to ask ourselves, what type of community do we want for our children? I offer 3 suggestions, and I specifically call on elected officials, law enforcement, and the general public to consider these 3 things. First, create a plan of action to prevent and respond to election and politically related violence. That's 1. 2, monitor and address misinformation. It is well established that misinformation contributes to political violence. And 3rd, promote a decorum of peace, integrity, and respect. I know you have a message up on the screen. I feel we need to do more. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Councilors. I have 3 things that I want to say. The first is I had the chance to look at the new sidewalks on North Main, and they're very wide, and they make the city look very serious, and like we take ourselves seriously, so thank you very much for that. Some more of that, please. Number 2, thank you to the people who came and talked about Gaza. And
I'm sorry, you got to state your name.
My name is Jorge Aguirre, and I'm a local resident. Sorry, thank you about that. And thank the people who came and talked about Gaza and remind us of this important topic that we're being complicit in. And I'm here to request, the third thing is I came to request that we divest from car-centric infrastructure and prioritize instead a network of protected pedestrian and bicycle ways in conjunction with efficient public transportation. People hate cars, and once you notice it, you cannot unsee it. Everything's better with cars when cars aren't around. Even car makers only show their new cars on empty roads on ads, or the mountains, or the desert, but not in daily traffic. The speed, the danger, and the noise of car traffic are always among the top concerns of our citizens, and cited among the top reasons why they oppose economic and population growth for the city for everyone else. Yes, we need more housing. Yes, we need more higher density, multi-use spaces. Yes, we need a more efficient public transportation system. We need better parks, we need better roads for the people who do drive, but we also need tax revenue to pay for it. And we're not going to do it with GRT. And we can do it, though, if we stop subsidizing the automobile industry. Many citizens still think that driving is the most effective, efficient form of transportation, but that's only because drivers don't pay for the full cost of driving, which includes the use of space to park a vehicle and for the majority of the day. When drivers don't pay to park their cars, the cost of that parking lot doesn't go away, but it gets built into the cost of everything else, including unused parking spaces. Do you know that a parking space costs between $15,000 and $25,000 each? That increases the cost of housing, development, retail, everything. So everyone pays more so that drivers can have a free parking space everywhere they go at any time. In the US, it is estimated that we have about 8 parking spaces per vehicle. That's 7 empty parking spaces that we put full of concrete or asphalt just to have sitting empty most of the time. I lost my, give me a sec. My request to you is that you introduce parking meters with variable pricing based on demand. Get rid of parking requirements so that Las Cruces entrepreneurs can expand their restaurants or their businesses without the cap for parking, and turn those empty parking lots into tax-producing job centers and housing developments. Keeping parking lot subsidies represent a large opportunity cost for the city and for the citizens to bring in additional tax revenue through profitable new developments on prime land, businesses, housing developments, apartment complexes, even retail sales tax that could allow us to have the money to pay for better roadways for the people who do drive. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is William Gilman. This is Genevieve Gilman. I'm a Las Cruces resident, small businessman in town. What did I come here for today? I don't know. I came to talk about the realized Las Cruces zoning changes that are under proposal. If people haven't heard about them, you should take a look. And I understand there's a lot of like fear and anxiety about it, so I wanted to talk about that. But the bullet point is, this proposal, the changes to the zoning are going to increase property values across the city. People are afraid, oh, my property values. But don't worry, it's going to be a good thing for all of us. Let me give you an example in a roundabout sort of way. So I live in the Copperstone Apartments, unfortunately. Unfortunate because of the rampant price gouging and rents that are happening all across the nation and our city. But I digress. Anytime I want to go anywhere, if I need to get groceries, if I need to go to a pharmacy, if I need to do anything, go hang out with friends, go do anything, I have to get into a car and I have to put this baby, me and my wife have to stick this baby in a car seat, and she doesn't like it. And God help you if you have to go to like 2 or 3 places. If you want to go to Target and Home Depot, game over. You got to put the baby in the car to drive around the fence that's there for some reason, unless you want to walk, which I have done. People look at you funny, but that's okay. So that is a problem. There are no services that I can walk to in my neighborhood. And so people look at this proposal and say, oh my God, if businesses can open up just down the street, what if a cannabis shop opens up next to me? Or a brothel? Or a heroin dispensary? Now, it's a little tongue-in-cheek because 2 of those things are not legal. And the herd of cannabis shops that showed up is thinning out due to natural selection. But there's a tendency to think about what could go wrong, right? That's like a human nature. What could go wrong? The worst case scenario. But let's talk about what could go right. Right, what if down the street there was a coffee shop? So you walk down the street to the coffee shop, and as you're walking, you see your neighbors doing the same thing or just being out and about. You stop and you talk to them. It's very lovely, but it also promotes a sense of community and a sense of neighborliness that makes neighborhoods safer and more valuable. Zillow, if you look on Zillow ever, has a thing called walkability rating and bikeability rating. And lo and behold, properties that have higher numbers on there are generally more valuable. So I think that's what we should do, is think about what goes right with this proposal. What if instead of every time you got out of your car, you thought to yourself, boy, what if I could just walk there? What if I could just put this baby in a stroller and have a nice leisurely walk instead of having to circumnavigate the globe inside a super Walmart to get a few groceries and a light bulb? You could just walk there. That would be lovely. So I encourage people to look into that and think about what could go right with this proposal. I have a little time left, which is uncommon. So let me say thank you to the people who came to talk about Gaza. I hear people talking about the babies without names being murdered in abortion clinics, but what about the babies with names? And this baby is not yet one, and I shouldn't have to ask people to imagine a bomb going off, but the bombs don't care how cute the baby is.
Good afternoon. My name is Dana Hopkins. I'm a resident of District 4. I want to thank our remarkable young folks who spoke out about the genocide in Gaza and support everything that they had to say. But I came here in support and appreciation of Community of Hope and to ask our City Council to continue to do as much as we can to support Community of Hope. These are our neighbors, and there is so much work to be done. Community of Hope is doing a remarkable job. I am a client, a healthcare client at Amador, so I am around there relatively frequently. I can see how busy they are. I can see how much good work they're doing. It can be seen all over our community. Why anybody would not support this, I find it hard to comprehend. But I just wanted to be here to speak out to say thank you, and please continue to support Community of Hope.
All right. My name is Rick Renault. lifelong Las Cruces resident. I'm here to talk about NMSU. There was an article in the Newsbreak entitled Las Cruces Parents Call for End to NMSU President Search, 19 September 2024, 18 days ago. It's still valid because they selected President Fermi, and now this is his problem. There's a curious and uneasy dance ongoing today between NMSU and the Las Cruces Parents Group, who fought the Las Cruces Public School Equity Policy, JBC, in 2021. NMSU has continuously refused to apologize to the parents for their own equity professors' racist-tinged email characterizations discovered during this time frame. It was an attack on Las Cruces parents, a racial attack on whites and Hispanics who wouldn't go along with cultural proficiency and the anti-white nonsense. Background: in the spring of 2021, Las Cruces parents fought the eventual passage of LCPS policy JBC equity. We had successfully stopped policy JBC after it was initially signed in April 2021. The board had to unceremoniously unsign it and start over. What we did find in 2021 was pretty much an active civil rights violation factory. Urgently needed help, the LCPS administration called in NMSU equity professors, department personnel for backup as they restarted the policy process. It was during this time frame in 2021 that we requested email communications of key NMSU personnel, including the president, provost, and regents. Startling emails dripping with disdain toward Las Cruces parents were found. We were called racists, both Hispanic and Anglo, because we wouldn't go along with the cultural proficiency and anti-white nonsense. We sent NMSU regents and leadership an acknowledged email on September 30th, 2023, a year ago, and again on July 30th, 2024, about 2 months ago. No reaction, no answer. We're asking NMSU for a written apology to the Las Cruces parents and specific corrective actions. Actions include the BEST Institute must revert back to an unbiased history institute instead of a Finding Offenses in History Institute. Back to the Borderlands Institute. No more BEST. No DEI, no Agenda 25, no Office of Institutional Equity, and all actions done by that office since July 2019 to be relitigated. We have a letter to be sent to LCPS to be sent soon, asking them to rescind policy JBC and all race identity talk forever. Thank you.
Afternoon. My name's Jim Hurst. Lots of things have been said today that I feel I need to address. First off, Palestine and Israel. As far as I can tell, if there's a God, he gave the same piece of land to two different people groups. It hasn't worked out well, and I don't know if it ever will. Apparently, God was trying to teach them how to live together in peace, and the whole lesson failed. That's best I can tell. I don't know how to solve it. They're going to have to figure it out, or they're going to have to go on doing whatever they're doing. And I don't know when they'll stop. As far as the electioneering talk we heard from the CCIA, I've tried not to do electioneering talk here, but the Democrats are free to choose their own candidate. We had a primary process. The candidate died. The party selected the person or the persons who would make a decision like that in an emergency. This was an emergency. We couldn't plan on the death of our candidate. So we chose, and I wasn't one of those who chose, but we chose the person we felt John would want. And we knew who John would want because John said who he would want. And that's our candidate. And that's who we're running. and we're going to win. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, and staff. My name is George Pearson. I'm Vice President of Cruces, a local bike ped advocacy organization. I'm also Chair of the MPO's Bicycle and Pedestrian Facilities Advisory Committee. NMDOT has told us that they will be opening grant applications for the Transportation Alternative Program and Recreational Trails Program in November. The TAP and RTP grants have a less than 15% match requirement, making this almost free money. Grant applications are open on a 2-year cycle. To the best of my knowledge, the city has not applied for TAP or RTP monies since before the pandemic. TAP has previously helped fund bicycle facilities on Madrid and Walnut, and RTP was awarded to create a trail between about the convention center and the main Idaho intersection. However, with the huge increase in construction costs after the pandemic, this trail was cut back by about half. A November call for projects means that the city must move quickly to make grant applications. I'm here today to ask that the city take advantage of these almost free monies to help improve active transportation in Las Cruces. And a couple of other people had already spoken about the need for active transportation. Maybe an RTP application to complete the original trail idea from the convention center to Maine and Idaho. Maybe even a big idea like solving the railroad crossing at the outfall channel. Solve some connecting problems like extending the Mesilla drain trail through Byrne Lake so you can safely get to Lakeside Drive. I'd like to leave it to council and staff to select the projects, but please don't let this grant cycle pass by without making an application. These are competitive grants, so it's not assured that the city would receive these fundings, but without making an application, failure is guaranteed. Other speakers are talking about the need for this. Just the general idea, ownership of a car is recognized as costing about $10,000 a year. Imagine if you have a 2-car family, if you can remove one of those cars and that money can go to the family instead of supporting that car and everything involved with that mode of transportation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, City Council. Mr. Mayor, my name is Veteran Chavez, and I am going to talk about what's happening in Gaza. It's unfortunate what's happening there, and as I've told you all before, war is hell. And I've been in that part of the world serving this great country, and I will continue to serve this great country, and I will continue to defend the citizens of Israel and the IDF. Now let's talk about what happened. Who invaded Israel on October 7th? Why did they invade them? What did Israel do to them? It was Hamas, a terrorist organization. They don't talk about the 101 hostages that are still in Gaza right now. They don't talk about the 26,000 missiles, drones, and rockets that have been fired at Israel from Hamas, from Hezbollah, and from Iran. So they talk about the U.S. funding rockets for Israel and munitions, but they don't talk about who's funding Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Iraq. It's Iran. So that's where the buck needs to stop, is with Iran. "2,500 innocent Israelis were killed on October 7th. Let's not forget that. 6 billion Jews were killed in the Holocaust. 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust. Let's not forget that. That was a genocide. My uncle, who died serving in World War II, and I had 2 other uncles that served in World War II, one served in Korea, not to mention other relatives. His unit was one of 3 units that liberated Dachau, which was an Israeli concentration camp in Munich in 1945. So my family has a long history of serving our country and serving in the military. They read the names of innocent apparently innocent Palestinians that were killed, but they don't read the names of the terrorists that attacked the Israelis. Why don't they read those names? And there is no such place as Palestine. It is called Judea, Samaria, and it's called Gaza. As it says in Genesis, those who bless Israel will be blessed, those who curse Israel will be cursed. Thank you.
Hi, Council. Thank you. My name is Stephen Kahn. I'm a 40-year resident of Las Cruces on and off, so I've been here a while. Just 3 local points I'd just like to make. One, and I address this to the council and to all attendees here, burglaries are up in the city. My old family house in Los Alturas was hit in late July. The deputy who took my report said they get calls out there all the time. Please, I urge you, I put this on Facebook Community Watch, leave lights on at night, even when you're on vacation, leave a vehicle in front of your homes until we get police recruitment up around here. We really have to look out for each other. Tell your neighbors, your kids, eyes open for strange vehicles. I don't know what the cause is. The cannabis increase, who knows, but it's serious. So point 2, I like that I see a sign out there for the youth YMCA where the old Video 4 used to be. I'm just wondering, I'm glad it's finally going to happen, I hope. I'm just wondering what other businesses can we get out there to turn El Paseo around? Like a dozen years ago, it was kind of a nice main drag, and now it's mostly kind of a rundown, closing cannabis slum, really homeless. It's kind of dark and dangerous at night. Is anyone in touch with the Tatsu family? I mean, they put up fine restaurants. I don't know. They used to have restaurants there. Is there any way we could just get more anchor businesses there, especially on Upper El Paseo towards downtown? It just looks kind of awful. And third point is, sort of speaking to the gentleman who talked about walkability in the city, if anyone's interested in approaching me, I'm really interested in getting kind of a tree growing initiative in Las Cruces, because anyone knows these summers around here, it's not like 10 years ago. We're getting 103-degree, 4 months straight summers. It's really hard. If we had more trees to eat some carbon, we'd be in really good shape. I'd love to. There's a lot. Seriously, by Foster near the family clinic, could put up plenty of trees there. If anyone would like to speak to me, interested in just a planting a trees initiative, we could get something together. That would be great. So that's all I wanted to say, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. This concludes our public participation. Next, I have a couple of closed meeting statements that I need to read. One was for September 30th. City Council met in closed session at 10:04 a.m. on September 30th, 2024. The following members were in attendance. Myself, Mayor Enriquez, Councilor McClure. Councilor Graham joined us at 11:17. Councilor Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo, Councilor Coran, and Councilor Flores. Staff was Ikani Tamopayao, J.C. Borrego, Sonia Delgado, Barbara Bencomo, Brad Douglas, Adrian Widmer, Chief Story, Christine Rivera. We had outside councilors, outside counsel, Taylor Ron, Jessica Farrell, Brian Del Luisio, and David Midiers. The purpose of the closed meeting was to discuss pending litigation, Lopez, Eric versus City of Las Cruces, D-307-CV-2023-00780, which is closed pursuant to New Mexico State Statute 1978. To discuss pending litigation regarding City of Las Cruces versus United States of America, American Linen, case 2-17-CV-00809-JCH-GBW which is closed pursuant also to NMSA 1978, and to discuss the pending litigation regarding the estate of Teresa Gomez versus the City of Las Cruces, 23 CV 952, which is also closed pursuant to New Mexico State Statute 1978. We had another closed session meeting this morning at 11:04 a.m., October 7th. The following members were myself, Mayor Eric Enriquez, Councilor McClure, Councilor Matisse was absent, Councilor Graham present, Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo present, Becky Karan present, and Yvonne Flores was present. Staff, we had City Manager Ikani Tamopayao, Sonia Delgado, J.C. Borrego, Barbara Bencomo, Brad Douglas, Joe Richards, Chief Story, and Christine Rivera. A meeting adjourned at 11:42. We discussed the bargaining strategy preliminary to collective bargaining negotiations between the policymaking body and a bargaining unit, which is closed pursuant to New Mexico State Statute 1978, Section 1015 1H5. Next is the acceptance of agenda.
Move to
Mayor,
approve,
I'd
Graham.
like
Wow.
to pull 7.1
Oh, sorry.
for a question, and then you can duke it out.
Then we can do it.
Christine?
I second it, what Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo said.
To pull 7.1 from the consent agenda.
This is on the motion to approve the agenda as presented with removal of item 7.1 for discussion. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. So we'll begin with our resolutions ordinance for discussion. We'll start with 7.1. Resolution number 25-039, a resolution approving a community development block grant CDBG agreement between the City of Las Cruces and Hardin de los Niños for the Hardin de los Niños roof replacement project and amend the fiscal 25 capital improvements program CIP. Mayor Pro Tem, did you need a full presentation or?
No, I honestly would just like a clarifying question, though I did see you have 4 slides.
Really quick, Mayor Pro Tem, we need a motion in a second.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Motion. Thank you. To approve.
Second.
Thank you, Christine. I just have a question, honestly. As I was reading through this, I saw that the total for the project is $800,000, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, from what I read, it seems like the project right now has $528,000.
Mayor, Councilor, members of the City Council, Raymond Birchfield, for the record, Housing and Neighborhood Services. At that time, when I did the initial PowerPoint, the estimate that I had was $800,000, and we have since got an updated estimate of $650,000 that I got. That's a rough estimate at this point. This resolution will provide $278,500 in community development block grant money in conjunction with $250,000 of state capital outlay that they have already procured, and they have requests in for further state capital outlay. It is a city-owned building, and that's where we are right now.
So for the remainder of the cost, then what's the plan?
Other than requesting further state funding, so far the city has not thrown any money in. It is a city-owned building, but that is at your discretion. But past that, I do not know where.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I think that that's really important. Honestly, Jardín de los Niños is an organization that provides really critical and important work in our community. And as you said, they are currently in a city-owned building. I would hate to put any of that responsibility on their tight budget already, so I hope that that's not the plan. And so I don't know, Ikani, our city manager, what the plan is for that, but I think because it's a city-owned building, I mean, you know, if Jardín de los Niños ever left, that's still our building, and so what's the care that we're putting towards it, especially at a place that cares for children? I know that, you know, obviously things are tight, but I would like us to take some responsibility for the remainder of that. I don't know if we need to do that today, but I just at least wanted to name that. That's it. That was my whole question.
Okay. Anyone else? Questions, comments? Or anything for Ray?
I have a question. I don't know if it's for, thank you, Mayor, I'm sorry. I don't know if it's for Connie or for you. But the amount that's remaining, what is it this resolution would do if it had remained on the consent agenda?
Councilor Mayor, this resolution is just to approve the community development block grant agreement to approve the CDBG money for this particular project.
And that amount is how much?
$278,500.
And how much is,
I'm sorry?
And how much is needed to do to complete the project?
Right now, the estimate is $650,000 total, and
so what would you do with that almost $250,000? Would you invest it, or would it just sit there and collect dust? I mean, what would you start on the project?
Mr. Mayor, Natalie Green for the record. Councilor Flores, we will work with Hardin to help find the additional resources. CDBG does have a long expenditure period. Our agreement is for up to 2 years. We are working with Public Works right now, so the project is in design, so we can finalize that total cost. And so once we know that, we can start to look at some gap financing. I will note that under the lease agreement, the maintenance and replacement of the roof is the responsibility of the city.
Yeah.
Jardin has done their piece, right? They've secured almost 81% of the funding. So we'll continue to work with them to either design to the existing budget or look for additional resources. Should we need to reprogram funds, we would come back for an action plan. We don't like to reprogram money, but that is a potential should we not be able to expend these funds in the compliance period required by HUD.
I'm sorry, Green. I was going to say Miss Blue. No, Green. So how long will it take? It's over $300,000 that would have to be found somewhere under some rock.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Flores, depending if the additional source is capital outlay, it could take anywhere from 1 to 2 years.
1 to 2 years.
But
and
we would defer to Public Works on their timeline if they're available.
Okay. Yeah, I think Jardín de los Niños is something that we really have to protect and make sure that that it continues with its services. I would hate to see it closed down because there's a flaw in the building, which could be a safety issue. I think it's the only, yes, in fact, I think it's the only, either in this, no, it's in the country. It's the first child care center that provides services, holistic services for the entire family. And it's absolutely fabulous. If other child care centers who, for profit would institutionalize that, we'd have very happy children and probably a happy world. But, that's, reaching for the stars. But thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Matisse.
When was this roof to be done? Are we behind on maintenance on this building?
Counselor, I know that we've been patching it the building is over 20 years old. The thing was built late in the 1990s. As far as the schedule and scheduled replacement, I'd have to defer to Public Works for that.
Yeah, my point is, I've come back into the government, and I see a lot of things not maintained. I see our parks not maintained, the recreational fields not maintained, I see buildings not maintained, and now another building not maintained. As a city, I don't know where we're throwing all the money, but we really should maintain what we have, and we should take care of this program and this building. Somehow, maybe the county, the city manager, the mayor, and the councils could just fast track this and get the roof fixed. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-039. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes, and we need to fix it. Thank you.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Next is 8.1, Resolution 25-040, resolution approving amended service agreement between the City of Las Cruces and Mesilla Valley Community of Hope for the expansion of the homeless outreach program and authorizing the city manager to sign said agreement on city's behalf.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, Corin.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council. My name is Isaac Holguin with the Housing and Neighborhood Services for the record. And the resolution before you today is an approval of amended service agreement between the city and Mesilla Valley Community of Hope for the homeless outreach program and authorizing the city manager to sign on the city's behalf. Here's some background to provide context about the homeless outreach program. The homeless outreach program was funded in FY21 to support city residents who face financial hardships due to the pandemic. Since COVID-19, we've seen significant reduction in available affordable housing stock. Mesilla Valley Community of Hope has been pivotal in addressing homelessness and has success in administering the homeless outreach program. The program aims to reach out to unhoused individuals who may not be aware or do not have adequate transportation to the access services at Mesilla Valley Community of Hope campus. Homeless outreach services include, but are not limited to, transportation to services, day shelter, assistance and referrals to other social service agencies, employment-related activities, and acquisition of personal identification. Additionally, the homeless outreach program works closely with the Las Cruces Police Department, fire, and the codes enforcement. It also educates local businesses and schools on the services provided by the homeless outreach program to ensure a more connected and informed community. The resolution before you is the approval of an amended service agreement in the amount of $164,000 for the homeless outreach program. And through resolution 24-121, the city council did approve additional funding for the homeless outreach program. So far in FY25, the homeless outreach program has assisted 128 people. In FY24, the homeless outreach program has assisted 279 residents, and out of the 279 residents, 32 were absorbed into Camp Hope and 34 were housed. And here are your, with that being said, here are your standard council options, and I believe Nicole Martinez from Mesilla Valley Community of Hope and the homeless outreach program staff is here, and as well as our community engagement unit with the police, if you guys have any questions for them as well.
Thank you, Isaac. Any questions? Councilor McClure?
Yeah, I had a couple questions for Nicole, if she'd be willing to. I had a question more about, can we kind of get a detail of sort of long-term outcomes from some of the people that are going to be engaged by these services, and kind of also what the team was going to look like when this kind of comes into fruition? It's a lot, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Nicole Martinez, Director, Mesilla Valley Community of Hope. Mr. Mayor, Councilor McClure, the outcomes in the city grant started, I mean, we're already doing the program, and we already have the team. So it's 4 people, they're all here. That's our outreach team. And the goals that we have for this program are basic street outreach, like if you look it up in terms of wherever it's being practiced throughout the U.S., is to provide referrals options for shelter, ties to housing, hygiene, safety, education. And so that's what the goal is that our team is going out and engaging with at least 100 people. You can tell just in this first quarter, we've already engaged with 128. Last year was, a 200 and something, I think, as we had 2 people going out, partnering with law enforcement, continuing to do that. A lot of that this really was spurred collaboratively between the City of Las Cruces and Community of Hope. We would often get calls from city councilors saying, hey, there's somebody up off of Telshore, can you please go up and outreach to them? Do they know about Community of Hope? Do they know how to get food? And we said, well, the people that are working at Community of Hope aren't just expendable like that. Like if somebody's tied to a certain program, like are they a veteran? Or are they enrolled in this housing program? So we really said, we would love to be able to just respond with a flexible service provider. And so it was built in tandem with Mano y Mano as well, so to go out and do outreach with people. So also part of the goals is to offer those referrals and education and hopefully like tenancy at Camp Hope until they can get in housing, as we're trying to go to unsanctioned encampments around the community. So we feel like those outcomes are still to just serve a certain number of people, and then make sure we're letting people know about the resources at Community of Hope. Many of them we do bring over to Community of Hope. Some may not be appropriate during that particular time, but we continue to provide outreach in terms of staff is doing coordinated assessments there, getting them enrolled and onto that housing waiting list out in the field as well. Right now during the summer, it was also even just some basic safety life and death things where we were handing out waters and things like that. So, in really inclement weather, and we'll continue to do that during the winter as well.
Thank you. Kind of to continue with that, in terms of the day shelter looks like, is there in a way, if somebody comes to you and there's an emergency need, what flexibility do you have in being able to offer something for that evening or something that needs that kind of our immediate?
Mr. Mayor, Councilor McClure, if somebody shows up at the shelter, they can access the basic services there. Like if they need to take a shower, use the restroom, get water, do laundry, they can do those immediately. Accessing housing takes quite some time. Our housing list is really long. Also, there is a waiting list for Camp Hope, so it just depends on what the tenancy at Camp Hope looks like at the time. But it can be quite some time till they can get overnight shelter. In those cases, we're also referring to our partner across the street, the Mission, to see if they have vacancies there. But it can be, in terms of overnight, that can take some time. Again, sometimes it depends on the grant, so certain grants allow us to do certain things for certain populations. So it kind of depends, but overall, like the emergency overnight is limited.
And primarily when you have to address sort of detox situations, where do you kind of send them right now?
Mr. Mayor, Councilor McClure, if somebody is asking for detox, in fact, we had that happen recently. Somebody on the day labor team approached the supervisor and asked for help, wanted to get some assistance. I can't remember the name of the referral that we made, but got him in there. Do you remember? Miguel. So we'll immediately start calling around and figure out where we can place somebody, looking at things like, do they need to go to the ER first? Can they go straight into services? Is Amador Health Center an appropriate place for them and their recovery team? So we'll start to just call around and access any of those resources. And I just heard the after of that, like where he was so proud and like, I got somebody into detox today, and that was great. So, making sure that that's like also an extension of that referral process.
Thank you. And I appreciate all that you guys do to get that help out there to the people that need it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Matisse.
Ms. Martinez, I have a few questions rolling in my head. How much of the funding will go to Mano y Mano that you're receiving today?
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Matisse, it's my understanding this is just for the outreach team. So it doesn't go to Mano y Mano.
You had mentioned it, but it will not help the Mano y Mano program, this particular funding.
Financially, no, but they do go out together. So Mano y Mano has its own funding budget from the city of Las Cruces. So they do receive their own funding. This is just for the outreach team. So if Mano y Mano is picking up an encampment, then we have outreach team working with the people there.
And then I hear you're participating, I guess, collaborating with the light program with the fire department.
Mr. Mayor.
I know they have outreach now, advocates.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Councilor Matisse, when necessary, we do that. Oftentimes, the light team is initiated if it's through, 911 calls, so sometimes our staff is just responding to people. Maybe it hasn't escalated to that point. If it does, then yes, we're definitely relying on our partners at the fire department and the light team. So they do. A lot of times we work with the LCPD community outreach safety officers, and the codes officers as well, as we're going around town to provide outreach to people.
Maybe you could share with me I noticed the numbers, they seem to be increasing, that there's an increase in the unhoused. Are you finding that to be true, or is it decreasing?
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Matisse, we have seen an increase in numbers. I think that there are quite a few things happening. I mean, data shows that when you have places where rents are rising and you have low vacancy rates, which City of Las Cruces does, you're going to have more unhoused people. Also, we have been providing a lot more services than we did before. So we've had some funding boosts, like we didn't have an outreach team before. Now we have an outreach team. We didn't have certain grants that were part of opioid settlement funding, so more rental assistance. And we also, really expanded our mano a mano outreach team. And so we have way more people coming to Community of Hope asking for help. Before we were saying no way more times than we're able to say yes now, helping people with income, helping people get housing, helping people get shelter. And so we are absorbing those numbers where before we weren't, because we just didn't have the services necessary, or not necessary. We needed the services, but we didn't have them to the capacity that we needed.
I know I requested that you would have a full day with me on a tour to go through everything you do, Camp Hope, and I hope that comes up pretty soon. I'm waiting for your call. But are you happy and satisfied with Camp Hope?
Mr. Mayor.
I know that's a tough question, but...
It's not tough at all.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's condition and everything with Camp Hope. I mean, there's acreage right next to Community Hope. I think the city owns it, 5 or 6 acres. Why don't we jump to a better idea, like with private enterprise? I've seen it in different cities to where they have half of mobile, not tents, but they have mobile units, small little 800, 1,000 square foot homes. Have we even put that out there that we could just make it look better, kinder, and have better control over it? I mean, or are we just going to continue year after year after year of just being satisfied with Camp Hope?
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Matisse, I wish we didn't have to have Camp Hope. I wish everybody had housing, but I think that it's been successful in sheltering people, keeping people safe, keeping people close to infrastructure, to bathrooms, to trash cans, to housing, to all the services that they need. And we've done it in a way that's been compassionate and affordable. It's also been a model. I don't know if you've picked up a paper lately, and also, orderly and cleanliness. Again, I would really like for you to come visit Camp Hope, because
no, I'm just waiting for your call. I spend a lot of time down there because my daughter works at the clinic, Lauren Matisse. She's at the Amador Clinic. So
I'm very familiar with Lauren.
And so, her opinion is important to me. Being a NERC practitioner, she thinks it could be better, and so maybe we can make it better. And I'm willing to make things to where there's results. I think Councilor Cassie had a good point. In other words, just we're missing some things like emergency shelters, maybe the triage center. Maybe we need shelters to be open to take care of the ones that have mental issues. It seems we just keep doing things half-assed. And I would just like to do it fully, so.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Matisse, if I could just finish the housing piece. So we are doing 50 units of supportive housing. So we do feel like Camp Hope is one piece of the continuum of caring for people who are living outside. Housing is our goal. So
and the 50 units are?
And I would sure love to finish my sentences. So if we could get Amador Crossing built, it's 50 units that will go right there. There's still room to even add more. Maybe mobile units would be something applicable in the future, but we know that it won't house as many people as an apartment complex will, and right now we have a real shortage, as we all know. So we would love to get the biggest bang for our buck, and so we do have plans to do more. But again, Camp Hope has been a shining star, I think, and it's, like I said, kept people really safe, and that's what we will continue to do until we have enough housing to absorb everyone.
I know you serve on a board, correct? You were in Dallas, Texas with, I believe, Mr. Curry.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Matisse, I do. I serve on the Federal Home Loan Bank of Dallas Affordable Housing Advisory Committee and the New Mexico Housing Trust Fund Committee, which I just missed my meeting today.
Okay, and I was just thinking if we could spend some time with private enterprise, people like Steve Lohman, that is building some shelters for the Mescaleros at the reservation. And it seems he got 40 or 50 units done at a cost of $1 million, I think, $1.4 million, and then $4 million, I think, was the total amount.
It's not correct.
Are there any opportunities that we could get more bang for the bucks?
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Matisse, I think there's always opportunity, and we'll continue to look for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Madam
Thanks,
President.
Nicole, and thank you for the presentation. Just want to say thank you for being here and for your team for being here. I've seen them in action at one of the events we had with LCPD, and it's really hard work. And I just want to say, express my deep gratitude to your team. I call Yvette and text Yvette a lot. Sorry, Yvette. Thank you for always being so responsive. I appreciate you all more than I could say. I just wanted to read a little bit something from the Santa Fe New Mexican, which I'm happy to send you some links to everybody, but it's important to get news from lots of places, not just Facebook, Community Watch. And so I wanted to just read this from the Santa Fe New Mexican. This says, Becky Gutierrez lived on the streets for several months before a spot opened up at Camp Hope more than a year ago. She said she became homeless when, quote, everything went wrong with my finances all at once, end quote. She appreciates the camp for the sense of security it gives her. She's one of several residents who said they prefer being in the camp to being on the streets. It's safer here than out there, Gutierrez said. It can get scary, said Diana Toyino. You don't want to be on the street at all. Toyino, 77, and her dog, Tisha, were at Camp Hope for the second time after she left the rental property amid disputes with her landlord. She didn't mind being back, however. It's pleasant, she said. It's a good stepping stone to moving forward again. They got rules, and that's fine. Follow the rules, and everything's okay. I just wanted to read that because I think it's so important to sort of zoom out from the misinformation and the disinformation that often exists on social media, and sometimes we get emails and this must be true. Some of the real data comes from asking people who get services at Community of Hope and who live at Camp Hope. That kind of qualitative data also matters. It matters deeply, actually, for how then we come here and invest in these kinds of resources, like Hardin de los Niños, who also supports nearly homeless and homeless children and families. And so I just want to express deep gratitude to all of you. I'm proud to continue to support programs like outreach, the outreach team. So thank you.
Good? Okay. Cruces? Yeah, if there's any member of the public that would like to come and speak, just go ahead, come on up.
Again, City Council, Mr. Mayor, City Manager, Veteran Chavez here once again. So as Mr. Matisse was saying, he makes a good point about these mobile units. And we had plenty of those units in Iraq. And we lived in those units, and they were actually pretty good. The only problem with that is that they weren't good for when missiles and rockets came in, and it affected us. But we had community showers, and so it worked pretty good. In Afghanistan, we had connexes. We had 2-story connexes. So you had the bottom floor, we had 2 people per connex, And and then up on the second level, we had 2 people. We had like, I don't know, 30 connexes, so that was 60 people. And we used AC units, heating and cooling units that we used on top, and they worked good. So, I mean, if there's a issue with space here with 5 acres, you can put some good mobile units and stuff there. Now it's going to cost. I don't know if it's better to use permanent housing versus this, but for temporary, it would work pretty good. I don't know how much those mobile units cost, but I mean, you go to Costco and I think they sell these little homes for like $4,000 or $5,000. So that, you know, it's something to think about. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, come on up.
Good afternoon again. My name is Gage Burnett. I live here in Las Cruces. And I want to speak in support of Community of Hope and the work that they do. And I think the outreach program is one of the most important things that this organization does. And I think the more staff they have on it, the better. And the reason for that is that Las Cruces, being here in southern New Mexico, we have incredibly unpredictable weather. We have incredibly strong heat waves. It's a dangerous place to not have access to shelter. And what the outreach team does is they go to places where people may not have access to those services otherwise, and they can bring them in. They can get them water. They can get them those showers. I moved here about 3 years ago in the fall of 2021. And when I first moved here, I was coming in as a student, and I had a hard time securing housing, right? I was a young person. I didn't have much of a credit history. I ended up spending my first week in New Mexico living in a tent with everything I owned in the back of my car up at Leesburg Dam State Park. And that was terrifying. And like, I had a pretty good tent, right? I was a camper. I was an avid outdoorsman at the time. You know, I knew my way around navigating the environment. And I still really struggled. And that was just for a week. And that was just for a week knowing that I would have a place to go at the end of it. And so what the outreach team does is they take people who don't have access to that kind of hope, and they give them that security. They bring them in. They get them the resources that they need. I volunteer for an overdose prevention hotline. And one of the things that we really struggle with when we communicate with people is that they want to get services and they can't because, you know, they don't know where they are. They don't know where those services are. They don't have access to internet. Las Cruces is a place that doesn't have a lot of 24/7 facilities that are open to the public, right? You can't, if you are stuck in the middle of the night and you don't have a place to go, you don't have a way to get access to Wi-Fi. You don't have a way to get access to a place to charge your phone. Las Cruces is a place where you need to have these services, and I think what Community of Hope is doing is they are providing exactly that. They are providing that hope for people. They are bringing people in. They are helping them do the things they need, get access to the services that they need, that they want, that, you know, the most important thing that we as a community can do for our unhoused folks, whether, no matter what the circumstances are that led them to the position that they're in, it is our responsibility to bring them back, to let them know that they are part of our family, no matter what their situation is, no matter what their story is. And Community of Hope is doing that. And this increase in funding will help us bring our community back together, will help us bring those folks who need to, we need to wrap our arms around them. And it breaks my heart to know that there are people who don't have access to these services when they're right there. And it breaks my heart to know that there are services that we know how to provide, but we don't have the funding for them. So I strongly support this resolution because it will help our community and it will help the people that we love. Thank you.
Yes, come on up.
Hello again, Council, Mayor, long time no see. I came here in part to support the resolution for the Community of Hope. As someone who works with elderly people, I'm a caregiver now. I work with a lot of older people.
Oh, can you state your name again?
Trent Scribner. I was hoping you guys would remember, but it's all right. I work with a lot of elderly people, VA clients especially, who are bordering homeless. Las Cruces has had the highest rise percentage-wise in the country of rent in 2023. And so a lot of people are going to be removed from their homes. And so it's important, the outreach especially is important because older people don't know where to go for these services. And so I think it's a really good place to put the money. Because a lot of the time with my older clients, I'll spend time trying to help them find services that I know are available because I have the benefit of being out here and talking to people, but they don't. And so giving them the funds that they need to meet people where they're at and tell them what's good is critical, I think. That's about all I got. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, come on up.
Hello, my name is Yvette Gutierrez. I've been working at the Community of Hope for about almost a full 3 years now, doing outreach. I think the work we do is really important, and I love that I get to advocate for a lot of the clients, and I kind of wanted to share one of my clients' stories who I haven't talked about in a while, but he was experiencing homelessness, and really all he needed was an advocate. He had Social Security, he was able to, get a place, but he just didn't have the money because he needed an advocate to go with him to the Social Security office. That's really all he needed. And then once we figured out all of his financial situation, we were able to then get him housed. And he passed away shortly because he had a lot of health problems. So I definitely believe in the work that we do because he's the first client I had lost, and he was in a very vulnerable state. And had that not happened before he passed away, where we can get him housed, it would have broke my heart way more. And knowing that this is just one person, it's kind of a lot of all of our clients, whether they have money or income or not. I think it's important work that we get to do. And I really love this shop. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no one else, go ahead, Christine.
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-040. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Next is item 8.2, Resolution 25-041, a resolution approving the East Mesa Public Recreation Complex Public Art Project. And Ceci.
Move to approve.
Second.
Oh my gosh, I can't see. Good afternoon. My name is Ceci Vasconcelos. I'm the Public Art Coordinator with the Quality of Life Department. And I'm here today to present the City Art Board's recommendation for public art at the East Mesa Public Recreation Complex. And this is Melanie Brown. She is our City Art Board Vice Chair. She's had a lot of different titles. The new recreation complex is located off of Sonoma Springs Avenue at Sonoma Ranch Boulevard. The overhead photo shows where the art sculpture park is planned, and the landscape site plan shows where the artwork will be approximately located, which is here in that yellow dot. The Public Art Program released a call for artists for a freestanding public art sculpture for the recreation complex with a budget of $100,000 in May 2024. A designated art selection committee reviewed the 155 submissions that were received. 5 top finalists were chosen, including 2 local artists, and invited to present their proposals to the committee. The presentations were held at a public meeting at City Hall on September 10th, 2024. Selection committee members were landscape architect in the Parks and Recreation Department, Kathy Matthews, City Art Board members Melanie Brown and Adam Amador, and community member Bob Humry. City Art Board member Susan Polka substituted for Adam Amador at the presentations, and Bob Humry was absent due to illness. Staff and members of the public were also present to give input. The presentations are open to the public. The date was posted in print media, sent out as a news release, and posted on the social media. The artists presenting were James Moore, Suzanne Kane, Joshua Wiener, and Gary Slater. Glenn Schwager, a local artist, was invited but declined due to being out of the country. The committee scored each artist based on project criteria. The call for artists stated that the piece should be site-specific, could include elements such as activity, energy, light, and shadow. It could enhance or support the view of the Organ Mountains, and it might include historical, archaeological aspects, or could include sustainable themes. We also gave the artists some items for considerations, such as artwork should not be sports-specific. Functional artwork was not a priority. It should add identity to the recreation complex, serves as a focal point and is visible from several vantage points, and it could possibly provide a photo opportunity for visitors, preferably with Organ Mountains as a backdrop. This was a really tough decision for the committee, as Melanie will tell you. After weighing the criteria and other factors such as maintenance and safety, the committee selected Dance of Life, a concept by James Moore. His proposal is for a 3-piece sculpture that explores themes of balance, estirarse, which is stretch in Spanish, and flexibility, which he says not only apply to the physical body, but also the mental and spiritual wellness of people. The stylized figures stand on columns made of laser-cut Corten steel. The figures are made of stainless steel, and each column is lit from within, and the figures can be lit with exterior spots. The proposed columns measure 14 feet in height by 2.5 feet in width by 2.5 feet in depth. Here you see each column with the people figures to show scale. James also proposed a community engagement opportunity where the public could be asked what words they would like on the columns. The committee did have some suggested modifications. They are as follows. One, there were concerns about the die-cut areas in the columns collecting trash or sand or et cetera, and they are very tall. They would like to see the columns modified so the stylized figures can be more interactive, but maintain the word concept because they really like the community engagement aspect of the project. Or two, consider placing larger scale figures directly on the ground to be more interactive, but retain the words and community input in a different way. That concludes my presentation, and these are council options, and I will stand for questions.
Thank you, Ceci. Councilor Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Ceci. Just for the, maybe I zoned out during your presentation. I tried to look attentive now. But in terms of the location of this artwork, did you
Yes.
specify exactly where that would be?
We will go back to slide number 1. No, I think it was 2 actually. So right here.
Oh, right.
So yes, this is a proposed art sculpture area here. It's in the 10-acre park that is part of the complex.
So it's northwest on the north. If you're looking at the complex, it's northwest?
I'm so bad at directions.
North. Yeah, it's on
yes.
the west and north, yeah.
So this
And
is one of the
so-
ball fields right here. So what is the name of the street?
Sí.
Camino
sí.
Coyote.
Sí.
Coyote.
Camino Coyote.
Melanie lives up in that area, so she knows it very well.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you so much, Ceci.
Does that
Thank you,
answer?
Mayor.
Okay.
Anyone else? Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-041. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Next is item 8.3, resolution number 25-042, resolution approving the Fire Station 1 and 6 public art projects. Ceci.
Move To approve.
Second, Graham.
Hello again. And for the record, my name is Ceci Vasconcelos, Public Art Coordinator. And I will be presenting the recommendation for public art at Fire Station 1 and Fire Station 6. Per the 2% for public art ordinance, the Go-Bond public art allocation designated for public safety provided $200,000. We distributed the allocation between 3 stations, Fire Station 9, 6, and 1. When the selection committee for Fire Station 9 met to judge the proposals from 3 artist finalists, all 3 artists presented very good design concepts. After choosing the one that best fit Fire Station 9, the committee thought the other artists were a good fit for 1 and 2's projects. They voted to offer Fire Station 1 to Jason Butler and Fire Station 6 to Trevor O'Toole, based not only on their concepts, but also on the scope of their work. The City Art Board agreed and approved the recommendation. Both artists have agreed to be considered for these projects. The project criteria for the fire station projects is: 1, reflects the ethos of the firefighting community; 2, activates the exterior public space and streetscape; and 3, resonates with the general public, neighborhood, and the fire station staff. The first project is Fire Station 1, which is located across the street at 201 East Picacho Avenue. Again, the artist chosen for this project is Jason Butler. The committee felt he would be perfect for creating an art piece for the wall of the fire department that currently has the Old City logo hanging on it. Mr. Butler prefers collaborating with clients to design artworks. So in this case, we will collaborate with him to develop the preliminary concept into a final design. That design is to keep the Maltese cross design intact, but make all the elements 3D and insert LED lights between each layer. Here's a mock-up of the concept of the proposed scale of the artwork. Again, the design will be developed further in collaboration with the artist. The budget for this piece is $25,000. Our second project is Fire Station 6. Located at 2786 East Northrise Drive, and that's the corner of Northrise and Roadrunner Parkway. The artist chosen for this project is Trevor O'Toole. His design is inspired by the service of firefighters. The sculpture is 10 feet with a 10-foot base. It's made of stainless steel in a low poly faceted style. The artist takes a photo of a real firefighter from the station or department in the desired position and scans it to make the sculpture more realistic and organic. It will be painted with color that best represents the station. Lighting will be installed near or on the foundation to create uplighting. This concept was chosen for its aesthetic that keeps the artwork from being a monument or memorial. The budget for this project is $75,000. These areas are up for consideration for the sculpture, and the rendering is not to scale, but this is where they would stand. They might be giant. This is my presentation, and I will stand for questions.
Thank you, Ceci. Councilor Crane.
Thank you. Thanks for your presentation, and I just am really excited. I really loved the presentations by these artists, and especially Trevor, the last one. I think we all really liked him, and he was super nervous in his presentation, and so I'm really glad that he got called back for this, and I'm happy that I'll be driving by this every day. So anyway, thank you for carrying that through and the committee's work, and I didn't even know that was the plan, so that's fabulous. I'm really excited about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you again, Ceci and Melanie. I don't know if you mentioned it because I space out a lot these days. It's the age thing. Did you mention where the money comes from, just in case? I don't think you did. How the money is received by the art board and all that sort of stuff. I don't think you mentioned that, or did you? I'm sorry if you did.
Mayor and Councilor Flores, I touched on it. So per the 2% ordinance, anytime we have a go bond cycle and the community votes for go bonds, we do get an automatic 2% that goes towards, that is allocated to public art for those projects or the ones that qualify. So that is how these projects are being funded through the generosity of the community, really, because they voted on them.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes,
Okay.
I knew that, but I thought it'd be good for you to present that here, and hopefully the media will cover it, because I think that art is very important to our lives, and but given the economic situation our country sees, and especially our state, our city, I don't want people to think that we're spending money on things that aren't important. And frankly, I think it was art that made a lot of people survive the Holocaust. Artist Marc Chagall and many others were able to kind of rise above it, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you. I want to thank the City Art Board and the Quality of Life Director, Cale Bray, and Rebecca Slaughter back there, who's always hiding. But anyway, I want to thank you all for your work, your dedication, and your expertise.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And Mayor and Council members, we do have one other Go Bond project that will be coming up, and I believe we're doing that in Councilor Matisse's district, so stay tuned for that.
All right, Ceci, thank you. It looks wonderful. It's beautiful to see. Thank you. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-042. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Next is item 8.4, resolution number 25-043, a resolution that the city of Las Cruces stands in opposition to the litigation position of the United States in the case of Texas versus New Mexico and Colorado, original number 141.
Move to approve.
Second.
Adrian.
Mr. Mayor, it's the wrong, oh, oops. That's the next one. Go. Thank you. I was going to start talking about some and you were going to say, what? Mr. Mayor, Council, Adrian Widmer, Utilities Director, thank you very much. On the opposed litigation position of the United States for Texas v. New Mexico, as you know, the special master originally recommended approval of the consent decree, and then the United States objected to that. So then through the Supreme Court, they gave it to the special master, and the special master said, yes, go ahead and go with the consent decree that the 3 states had agreed upon. Well, the United States argued no, that they didn't want to go that direction, and the Supreme Court said, okay, let's not go that route. Well, then the United States, their particular position is that they want a baseline of 1938. And that means everybody just uses the amount of water that they had from 1938, which would be massively devastating to the city of Las Cruces in numerous ways, which is laid out actually in the resolution. A meeting was called to have discussion where A.G. Torres from the state of New Mexico, Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo and I had gone to that meeting, and he was discussing, and he was just asking for some help. And he was kind enough to actually give myself and the attorneys a meeting with him up in his office in Albuquerque, and we kind of went through that a little bit further. And came back and wrote this specifically for you all to take a look at and to consider. I think in the long run, what he would like to do is to take this resolution and pass that on to the Department of the Interior's Secretary, which is Deb Haaland. She's the first Native American to serve as a cabinet secretary, and she's from New Mexico. So we're hoping that our AG will be able to go to the Department of Interior, give this resolution to them, and then, you know, try to work around this to try to get this through. Because whether it's through mediation or through a trial, 1938 is going to be devastating to Las Cruces and, well, all of us. Anywhere from Elephant Butte down, but it's going to be even worse for the city of Las Cruces because we're currently serving over 115,000 people just in the city, plus numerous commercial, industrial, schools. So that's pretty much what I have. I'll stand for any additional questions if you'd like.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Adrian. I don't have any questions. I just wanted to say thank you and honestly just to, quite frankly, reassure my colleagues up here and our community that we have an incredible leader in Adrian. She has been a really fierce advocate for our water and for the city of Las Cruces, trying every which way to schedule a one-to-one with the Attorney General until he said yes. And I really do want everyone to know that we have a really fierce advocate on our side. And I just wanted to say that publicly, Adrian, because I've just been in awe of you about how you're handling this whole situation, which frankly is really scary. And really thinking about our future. I mean, water is everything. And I'm excited that we are working closely with the Attorney General. I'm excited that we have someone like Secretary Deb Haaland in that kind of position to really listen to our needs as a state. And so I just really wanted to say that. Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you.
Councilor Flores.
Thank you. Thank you, Adrian, so much, and thank you for all your work. And this is consistent with our attorneys when they met with us, right? This is consistent, the information they provided and all that sort of stuff.
Mr. Mayor, City Councilor Flores, correct. So I worked closely with legal to go over this to make sure that I was capturing all of the information that we wanted to make sure that the Attorney General knows about us so that we can pass that on to the Secretary for the Department of Interior to actually say, this is how this is going to affect us. We're only using 7% of all the groundwater, only 7%, and we return 45% of water that we pump back to the Rio Grande. So our effect to the system is minimal.
And the proposal is horrible in that regard. Not the opposition, the thing that was presented at that meeting.
Could you please repeat that?
Well, I think I'm being very weird here. At the presentation, in terms of what the court held, we were definitely short-sighted. We weren't getting our fair share, and that's very clear.
So to the Supreme Court, we had gone, and New Mexico, Texas, and Colorado had agreed upon a consent decree. The special master concurred with that. He took it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court took that. The United States were in opposition of that because they want to get in the middle of it, and the Supreme Court sided with the United States to get in the middle of it.
Wow.
So as part of that, the United States is professing that everything needs to go back to 1938.
Okay, and what do you think the outcome will be, given that the U.S. and the United States is a litigant in this?
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Flores, I have no idea, but we are going to continue to move forward to try to do the best that we can for the citizens, the businesses, and the industry of Las Cruces. We will fight to the end. We will fight to the end.
Okay, and, well, I want to thank you for all your work, and I can't recall exactly what the problems were, how the U.S. got involved, because this is between, this is the Rio Grande water that flows and provides water for New Mexico and Texas, and Mexico, I think, too. So anyway, I want to thank you for your work, and I agree with Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo that you've done a heck of a job here, and I really, really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Councilor Matisse.
Who else is joining us in the litigation? New Mexico State University, Doña Ana County?
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Matisse, there are other amici. So we have the state of New Mexico and then the city of Las Cruces. Other amici include the city of Albuquerque, NMSU, CRUA, and then I think they've changed their name, but the New Mexico Power, there's the one that has like the Afton plant. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of them, but they're the ones that have the electric plant down there. They use water for cooling.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Adrian.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead. Christine.
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-043. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Thank
Next
you.
is item 8.5, resolution number 25-044, a resolution determining the condemnation of a portion of the parcel known as 2240 East Loman, Las Cruces, New Mexico, will serve the public interest, authorizing the exercise of the power of eminent domain to condemn such property for a public purpose, authorizing city staff to accomplish all deeds necessary to carry out the purpose of this resolution. Motion to move.
Move to approve.
Second, Corin.
Okay, Adrian, again.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Adrian Widmer, Utilities Director. Thank you very much for discussing this. Back in 2019, when the Aquatic Center was getting planned, a monitoring well was in the way. And so the City of Las Cruces requested the JSP, which is the city and the county. They have been, that's the joint Superfund project. They've been working together for many years to work on the tetrachloroethylene plume that is near the Griggs and Walnut intersection. Through that, we requested that the monitoring well, if we could go ahead and cap that so that we could go ahead and put in the newer pool in the Aquatic Center. EPA concurred, but they said, okay, but if we want another monitoring well or wells, you're going to install them. And we said, okay. Well, lo and behold, in the 2022 report, EPA started looking at that, and they said, you know, there's kind of an area that is missing some information. And if you look at the map here, this is where well 27 is, and this is where well 61 is. And then over on the right-hand side, this is kind of like a little drawing of what the plume looks like in that area, but of course you don't exactly know because we can't get in there and look through it like you would an aquarium. But through that, they were interested in knowing what is that southern line of the plume. So they drew a straight line between well 27 and well 61 and said, we need to have another monitoring well or wells in that area. And so this is kind of like what this little square area is that EPA gave us to choose. And through that, we determined, with the help of the consultant and negotiations with EPA, that the best place would be there along Loman, that if you will look right here, this is Best Buy, and this is Staples, and then over here is an sundry of small businesses, and it's this parcel here would make the perfect spot because it completely intersects directly with the black line that is straight. There's a temporary construction easement, a small permanent easement. We have made multiple requests to the owner of this particular parcel, which they are a large corporation out of California, but the attorneys keep reaching out to them and they have said no. Well, in order for us to meet deadlines and meet our requirements as part of the joint Superfund project, we have no choice but to install monitoring wells where EPA has told us to move forward. So we have no other choice but to go ahead and at least get ready and start, if we need to, condemnation proceedings. So that's what that is. The nice thing is that this will occur before the Christmas season, so it is not going to get in the way of any kind of parking issues. It's temporary. This work area here is about 50 by 175. The smaller permanent area is about 20 by 40, and this is what there's going to be two, and this is what each one of these look like. And so it's like pretty small, and this is the cover that goes on top of it, so it's flat, so someone can still park on it if they're shopping there. So this is not going to affect them in any way. There's a multitude of these monitoring wells throughout the city, including in the parking lots that are over by the ball fields. We've got some in there, and along other rights-of-way within the city. So this isn't going to affect their businesses. So we just need the okay so that we can move forward, so that EPA doesn't come back and say, well, you have not been able to meet the requirements of the consent decree that you all signed, and then hold us in contempt of the consent decree. And I can stand for any questions.
All right, thank you, Adrian.
Thank you.
Correct.
I just wanted to thank you again for this follow-up, and I something that I learned, that we've learned in this process through all of these conversations and other conversations, is about eminent domain, and I just want to give a very brief explainer. I know this isn't super interesting to probably anyone here, but New Mexico heavily restricts eminent domain. We cannot take land unless it's directly necessary for distribution of utilities, is the only really place, I think, that we can claim eminent domain with any kind of sort of reasoning behind it. So I just say this for the public. We have never used eminent domain in any of the times that I've been here. That's something like extraordinarily unusual circumstances and related to something that we have to remediate in our city. So I just want to put that out there. This isn't something that any of us take lightly or without seriousness, and it does sound like we've made pretty serious efforts to try to remediate this in any other way possible. So, but just as a note, eminent domain is not something that we're liberally using in any context, I don't think, on city council or as a city. So I appreciate the judiciousness with which you're approaching this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Flores?
Thank you. And thank you again, Adrian. So it's the eminent domain issue will be contested in court? Or how is this being
Mr. Mayor.
Federal District.
Councilor Flores, if we need to, we will go to court. We're really hoping that if something gets filed, they'll just finally say, okay, 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 pay us, and get in there and do your work. Obviously, if they do not, then the paperwork will be filed, and we have to do it within a certain time frame so that we can get right of entry in order to meet schedules related to the sampling schedule.
Okay, and then in terms of our attorneys who are representing us in this case, they would hopefully set forth how the power of eminent domain would probably serve our purpose. I mean, would be favorable to us, and hopefully we can omit or skip going to trial on this, and there'd be a settlement. So, and it's a privately owned business that has control over that water well.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Flores, that is correct. It's privately owned by a corporation in California.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Matisse.
Yeah, Adrian, I just wanted to take this time to thank Councilor Coran. I'm not an advocate of eminent domain either, so I really appreciated that explanation. And I see where you have to go forward. And you said it was a California owner? So I even second that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-044. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Coran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores? Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Next on the agenda is board appointments, and we have none. So the next one is notice of a proposed ordinance. There is one, and that would be Council Bill number 25-014, ordinance number 3085, an ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 38, Article 5, Section 3846, Las Cruces Innovation Industrial Park Overlay Zone District of the City of Las Cruces Municipal Code in its entirety, submitted by the City of Las Cruces.
Bring it forward.
Next is City Council member board reports and comments. I'll start with Councilor McClure.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm actually very glad that we pulled the Hardin de los Niños off the consent agenda. Just wanted to share that that was one of the best tours I had taken probably a couple months ago, because I had seen my role as trying to find as much information about what I feel is our holistic system of different services that the city provides, nonprofits provide. What are we doing? And they graciously took me in, showed me the kiddos that they're working with, who waved to me, and it was, you know, on one hand broke my heart, on the other hand made me feel like we actually do a lot for some of the most vulnerable populations, and we can't do it without the partners we have already. I saw it as twofold too, that there was a lot of things that are hindered kind of by state regulation. There are a lot of things that we have gaps in. And so looking at some of the things, last week we went to, Councilor Grant and I went to Gospel Rescue Mission, and they had asked, asked them, what are your challenges? Because that's always what I'm curious about. And they said, well, we have a, detox. When we have people that are in active substance abuse, it's hard for us to work with them. And so I'm hopeful that there's a Las Cruces Recovery Center that's starting, having an open house this week. Peak is getting back on board with our critical care. And I'm curious too to see how we can do an emergency shelter. Where can we put people, especially with some of the Supreme Court challenges that we are going to face at some point. I think I've spoken to a couple of other council members to see what that would look like for us. But I'm also not a big fan of reworking the wheel. And Gospel Rescue is working on a kitchen/cold weather shelter. And I'd like to propose we look at helping fund that, because we could work on reinventing the wheel, but we can also continue to support our partners as we have today with Mesilla Valley Community Hope. I agree too that we have to be advocates in larger ways, and a lot of people can't do it alone, and it's our partnerships that make this happen. So I'm hoping we can look at that. I have some information that I passed to the mayor, but I'll send it, I think I sent it to Christine, and I'll see if we can pass it to the entire board then too. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McClure. Councilor Matisse?
No, I just like to, again, support Councilor Cassie on that support for Gospel Rescue Mission. I think that would be a great partner to support. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Gray?
Thank you. As noted a couple of times during public comment, early voting starts tomorrow. So want to encourage everyone, I think a great first stop is nmvote.org. Download your sample ballot, because even as someone who is perhaps almost too plugged in politically, whenever I look at my sample ballot, something surprises me. Judicial retention, constitutional amendment. Don't get surprised when you go to vote. And as you're doing your research, just want to continue to suggest some of our local resources. KRWG, the Las Cruces Bulletin, and the League of Women Voters of Southern New Mexico are three great places that have some in-depth coverage on local candidates, their positions. KRWG's candidate forums have started, and they also have a series of recordings on their election center space on their website, where it's just kind of recorded statements from candidates who may not be close enough in the region to come in for candidate forums, but you can still get some more information. And that's all I've got.
Thank you, Councilor Graham. Councilor Karen?
Thank you. I have a couple of things. Sorry, it's been a few weeks, so I've been building up a list. First, last week I met someone who was new to Las Cruces, and she talked about going to, I think, the Museum of Science. I just wanted to give a shout out to the Quality of Life and Museum folks, but she really talked about the bilingual information cards at our museums, and was basically shocked. She said that her mom, who is a monolingual Spanish speaker, was coming to town soon, and she couldn't wait to take her to the City of Las Cruces Museum. She'd never lived anywhere where that was the case. So thank you for that. It is seen and appreciated by community folks. I also wanted to thank all of the city folks who showed up for Southern New Mexico Pride Visit Las Cruces, who we had the lucky fortune to walk with, the fire department, LCPD, giving out popcorn and making it a really safe environment for folks, including Lieutenant Wiedela, who I know has really worked hard to make sure that Pride is a great event. The ASCMV had dogs. I hope they all got adopted. It was a little hot for them and all of us, but Pride was a really fun event. It was bigger, I think, than it's ever been in the past, and I expect it will keep growing. So thanks to all of the city departments and folks who, I think I've missed some, but I think a lot of folks, some Quality of Life folks were there. The art team was there as well. So everyone that was there, it was really a great event. So thank you for doing that. I also wanted to just give a quick update. I went to Lincoln, Nebraska for the EPA Local Government Advisory Council a few weeks ago, which I'm appointed to as a function of my work here and representing Southern New Mexico and all of New Mexico. First, New Mexico is also represented, or was represented, by Secretary of Agriculture Jeff Whitty, who had been the longest serving local government advisory council member in the committee's history, and he just cycled off this last time. So I wanted to give a little shout of gratitude for him, because he really helped our state's needs be presented as part of the conversation about PFAS. So gratitude to Secretary Whitty for also helping orient me to the committee, but I'll be sharing all of these things with the city departments, primarily utilities. Adrian gets a lot of these from me, but we gave inputs on the EPA's community action roadmap to address cumulative impacts in overburdened communities, basically their environmental justice framework that helps communities engage in a process to understand how they can remediate environmental injustices of the past. We also gave input to the water system restructuring assessment rule, which sounds really bureaucratic, but actually it's what happens when a small rural water system goes awry, and how bigger water systems might be influenced by that and might be engaged in some restructuring as it relates to that. I'm not saying that that's necessarily a thing that's happening here, but we did give inputs to what the hopes would be if the EPA created rules around that, when the EPA creates rules around that restructuring. And we also found out about a whole bunch of different funding resources, loans, grants, other technical support resources for brownfield superfunds, as we have here, outdoor recreation, a whole bunch of really cool funding resources that I'll also be sharing with city staff as I go through all the materials that I have and can share that back to folks. So I am really grateful to be able to participate in those conversations. I do think that the EPA administration listens to, I hope they listen to our inputs when we give them into these upcoming rules. I also wanted to just mention we're having the Peachtree Canyon Affordable Housing Complex groundbreaking on Thursday morning. I'm really excited, 144 units in District 5. It will be beautiful, so I'm really looking forward to that happening on Thursday morning. So thank you to Natalie and the team for really making that, which is a public-private partnership. A lot of different funding mechanisms were used as a part of that. The county's chipping in, the state is chipping in. And it's going to be 144 units that will be affordable for 40 years, so something that I think we can all really be proud of as it comes to fruition. And then the last part is the big slides, which everyone is really sad about. I've been hearing a lot about the big slides, which are gone because they were hazardous, and apparently, I guess, well, I'll just say that people my size apparently were shooting out the bottom and being injured. I'm not saying that happened to me, but I'm saying that they weren't particularly safe. So the Parks and Rec has been working really hard on fixing up the Pacific Loop Park. And there will be something to replace those slides that's probably a little safer. I'm not saying, I don't know. I just don't know if anyone will get up to 100 miles an hour anymore and whatever replaces those slides, but I guess that from the city's perspective, that's good. But I do think it will have a pretty fun value for most people who aren't willing to risk life and limb in a very steep, speedy slide. But it's up and coming. Within the next few months, you'll see more things coming in there. And I do want to thank Parks and Rec. They did put up fencing around the pickleball / other things courts, and that really helps for folks who are playing there to not be constantly losing their balls. So I said what I said. So anyway, the park is a work in progress, and I hope folks will bear with me, but it's coming along, and I really appreciate Parks and Rec working on making that park the best it can be, including very safe for everyone. That's it.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Flores.
Pass.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Yeah, just a couple things, but before I get to my little list here, I do, just before we move forward with exploring any conversation around gospel rescue, I think it's important to note, for me anyway, that I think it's important that we talk about anti-discriminatory policies that the city has and believes in. The city does not discriminate against folks in our community before they receive any services based on immigration status, English proficiency, religious affiliation, disability, and Gospel Rescue Mission would have to come to the table around following those policies. So I think that that's an important note to make. Additionally, I think we have to remain steadfast that what we truly need is more permanent supportive housing. Permanent supportive housing, the key word. I think if we continue to explore temporary shelters, the goal is never to expand temporary shelters, really, it's to minimize them, and minimize them because we have permanent supportive housing, and I just, want us to remain focused on the goal ultimately. Just wanted to note that if staff begins to explore any of those suggestions. I also wanted to thank everybody who had anything to do with organizing the Pride event this last weekend. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun walking with you, Councilor Corrin, and with the rest of city staff. I really love that event and participating in it, and really standing with folks in the LGBTQ plus community for and everything Pride stands for. I also wanted to thank Katrina and Andres, my intern, for the event they helped organize at Branding in the Branding Iron Circle neighborhood, the trash cleanup, and thank you, Katrina. I don't know what I would do without you. And then just lastly, I hope I'm not stealing this from Ikani, but I do think it's important that I note that the Legislative Committee, Courts, Corrections, and Justice Committee, with all of its legislators, is here this week, October 9th and 10th at Stan Fulton Athletic Center, Villanueva Victory Club. On Wednesday, they will be discussing a lot of criminal justice reform things. Our very own Chief Story will be on a panel at noon on Wednesday, and later that afternoon at 3, there is a Housing and Public Safety Solutions panel with Nicole Martinez and other folks. And then on Thursday, actually, the agenda for Thursday includes a lot of health care equity conversations, including a closed executive session update on Memorial Medical Center to the legislature from the AG staff. And then later that afternoon, there's a lot of conversation around private equity in healthcare that I think is pertinent to the conversation we are currently having around our hospital. And that is it. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Yeah, also, and thank you, Councilor McClure, for bringing that up. As we heard today from the outreach, it's evident that there are more needs and more services and issues that we need to address. So we'll explore all those and look at them in every aspect for the betterment of the community. And I just wanted to share and thank Visit Las Cruces and also Senator Steinborn. They brought the Outdoor Economic Conference here to Las Cruces. It was a great event, a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. People from all over the state and from other states came to participate. With that, also want to thank Parks and Rec. A shout out, we just had the whole Enchilada softball tournament this past weekend. 252 teams came in. They're represented by 17 states, and even the umpires from all over the states, the players, the teams, bringing a lot of GRT into our community. So it's actually the largest softball tournament in the nation. So it's great that we still have that in here in Las Cruces, and it's still going. Shout out to our home builders. I also participated with the groundbreaking of the Casa for a Cause. This is where home builders build a house and then donate all the proceeds from the sale of that house to our nonprofit organizations. And with that, they're also sponsoring the Build My Future, which will be this Thursday at Field of Dreams, and that will be taking place from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. On what took place this past week with healthcare, I was asked to speak at the Burrell College for National Latino Physician Day. And it was pretty impressive to see the future and what Burrell College is doing as a whole, but just what it does for our healthcare in this community, and to see such the youth and the energy and enthusiasm in their healthcare and what they want to do for this community. It's great to see. Also, Mountain View had a ribbon cutting for a brand new MRI machine that they just purchased. It was 20 years old, and they came up with a new one. So that's great for our healthcare, our community, as far as goes early diagnosis and things that can help with the future of our healthcare. So that's great that our hospitals are moving in that direction to better our community with healthcare. For me, I just got elected, I'll share this news with council, I just got elected as a chair for the Mayor's Caucus through the New Mexico Municipal League. So that would be starting out a lot of conversations with mayors throughout New Mexico so that we can start moving that as far as legislative needs, whether there's laws or policies or capital outlay as a whole for New Mexico to go to the New Mexico Municipal League. So I think somebody made a comment earlier on, will we be there at Santa Fe? Yes, and I personally am participating by being elected the new chair for the Mayor's Caucus. And yeah, thank you. Thanks. And I think with that, I'll turn it over to City Manager Icani.
Thank you, Mayor Enriquez, Mayor Pro Tem Becom, City Council, Icani Tamopeao, City Manager. And just a few updates from public comments. We had a comment whether we were being intentional with our legislative session that's upcoming, and I just wanted to share with the public that it has always been our goal as a city to be as intentional and strategic as possible for preparation of legislative sessions. Last year and the previous years, we've had several meetings with legislators and representatives, and those who could make it. Similar to this year, we had we've initiated, especially in a very tough year. There's elections happening for our representatives and senators, but we are grateful for those who have accepted our meeting this year to meet with them. We had several representatives and senators make the time to meet with us. And we actually had one just a few days ago that came here at City Hall, and we've talked about strategy. So I just wanted to share that with the public and make it known that we are being intentional this year to be strategic with and build those relationships. Just a timeline for you all here at City Council. October 24th, we will have a meeting internally where right now we have our P&I group looking at all the projects. Right now, they will present it to us internally before it comes to you in a work session. It'll come to you in a work session November 12th, and there not only the projects, but you will also hear about policy items. Policy items that'll come to you are the septic system. The septic system, they're funded, but it's the connection to the septic system, and there is a tweak that we're requesting of an anti-donation tweak. Then that's one of the things that we're requesting and we'll bring forward to you on November 12th work session. Additionally, IPRA legislation, which touches the heart of our city clerk, Christine, and all the clerks around, and many of us. That's one of the things that we'll be taking. And if there's anything else that you would like to bring up at the work session, that's when you'll receive the projects that we have ranked and prioritized internally, and that's when you could also make tweaks and modify whatever you'd like to see there. And then December 3rd is a council resolution and legislative priorities. That's when it's solidified there. So again, the dates are October 24th when we see it internally, November 12th as a work session, and December 3rd, you'll finalize everything that you see there for legislative sessions. And then there was a discussion for the roof project. Appreciate council sharing sentiment on for the Hardin de los Niños roof project. There is a gap funding of about $125,000. It looks like there's consensus here to bring it forward to a budget adjustment. Just wanted to let you know we will bring that at the next appropriate budget adjustment to get that funded. So thank you for sharing that, and then you can approve it in the next council meeting that's presented to you. All right, airport. The 2024 Las Cruces Air Expo is October 19th, October 20th at the Las Cruces International Airport. Activities are 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on both days. There will be aerial performers, air racing, STEM activities, food vendors, and more. Last year we had about 7,000 throughout the event, so this is a huge event. There's a lot, so plan on that. And again, the addition of air racing, that's a big one. There's an expansion of aerial events, and there's an expansion into air racing. Last year, for those who don't know, there was just a demonstration for air racing, but there was an actual air racing event. So this year, the air racers are coming in, about 20 pilots or so are coming in for this multi-day event. Visit Las Cruces is teaming up with NMSU Latin American programs to celebrate Latinx Heritage Month with 2 events. Cumbia lessons on October 10th at Baila Las Cruces on the plaza, and then an opportunity to show off your new dance moves on October 16th with Sonido Cachimbo live at the Corbett Outdoor Stage. Both events are free and open to everyone. Again, October 10th at Baila Las Cruces, Latinx and Heritage Month are combining there, and at the Corbett on October 16th. Parks and Recreation Spooky Splash Night movies at Las Cruces Natatorium, Friday, October 11th at 7 p.m. The Addams Family rated PG. The cost of admission is $1 non-perishable food item per person. All ages are welcome. Proper swimwear is required. And the Community Development Veterans Day Parade will be held November 9th, 2024, 11 a.m., beginning at Loman and Main Street. The Veterans Day Parade poster contest winner was announced. We appreciate all the students at LCPS and those that participated. This year's parade grand marshals have been selected from the city and county first responders. They are veterans. The grand marshal will be presented to the mayor and city council at your meeting October 21st. Proclamations and recognitions. There is one grand marshal from each branch of the military service: Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard. Last announcement, city's development has surpassed 2023 last year's activity level, and there are 3 months remaining for the 2024. Projections are that 2024 development permit valuations will exceed 2023 permit valuations by approximately 15%. And those are my announcements. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. And I look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved by Flores.
Seconded.
This is on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Coran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.